It's one thing falling in love with a house, and quite another navigating the world of negotiating, mortgage lenders, and finding the budget that works best for you. Guidance from an agent who's a Realtor can make all the difference, because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
This is NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association. It's Gun Storage Check Week and National Suicide Prevention Month. Securely storing firearms can help prevent suicide. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to deter unwanted access. Learn more at gunstoragechek.org and enter to win a gun safe. That's gunstoragechek.org. If you or someone you know is struggling, call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, we're just what the country needs.
These deals are working hard to save you money. From August 28th through September 3rd, save 15% off Balin stock tanks, $200 off Black Diamond log splitters, and find big discounts on shoes for the family.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, we're just what the country needs.
Make the most of your Labor Day weekend with Coastal.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 19, Episode number 4168. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and my car, Montgomery. Thank you, Hardman's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, a bedroom shot of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Click, clap.
All right, here we go. Man gives an Uber driver a 1-star rating, then his house got hit by a brick. Meanwhile, the world's oldest crocodile turns 123 and still has a working reproductive organ. Fugitive wanted for murder sees his chance of escape come crashing down. When your 4-year-old breaks a 3,005-year-old vase, your parents will frown. And a children's book catches a minivan on fire. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, money, as they say. Thank you. Is the root of all evil. And if that's true, most of us are trying to be just as evil as we can by making as much money as we can. Take brothers Jason and Travis Kelce. Now, neither of them are hurting for cash, but their pockets just got a little deeper thanks to the $100 million deal that they just signed with Amazon to carry their New Heights podcast. Meanwhile, two other brothers, Liam and Noel Gallagher, well, of Oasis, they announced a reunion tour after 15 years, and the tour is expected to bring $500 million. Now, I'm not sure how much money Deep Purple made in their 2017 farewell tour, but lead singer Ian Gillian, he recently admitted that they probably made more money than they should have because, you see, it was called a farewell tour just to sell more tickets. They had no intention of actually saying farewell, evidenced by the fact that they're currently on tour. But like we said, everybody's trying to find a way to line their pockets. Hell, just yesterday, a top Kroger executive, he admitted what we've all known, that the grocery chain, they raised their egg and milk prices above the inflation rate because, well, they could. And you'd blame inflation. And that made them more money. And then actor Tyrese, he recently shared that his mother used to make he and his brother act like they had severe disabilities to get more money from the Fed.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, when they went to Social Security, don't they? Me, I used to sell porn magazines. Our former intern, she's on OnlyFans. Hey, man, everybody wants to make a little money. So today, that's what our question is. Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash?
Okay. Be part of the big show. Call 206-803-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
This is NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association. It's Gun Storage Check Week and National Suicide Prevention Month. Securely storing firearms can help prevent suicide. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to deter unwanted access. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org and enter to win a gun safe. That's gunstoragecheck.org. If you or someone you know is struggling, call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Worse than that.
Who Sucks Less is coming up. Also, we'll have some updated locations on the brand new Men's Room IPA from Black Raven Brewing. We do know this. If you are headed to Metallica either on Friday or Sunday night, the beer will be available in the big, bright yellow can.
As for the big, bright yellow can,
And I always think it's a smart move when you're at an event like that and maybe your seats are a little bit up or they're way down or wherever you got to go and you got to make that walk. You might as well get yourself a bigger beer. And, and the beer will be available
and get two
in a bigger yellow can. So that is a smart move. And, of course, it benefits our 3 local Fisher houses. So we appreciate you buying the beer if you haven't tried it yet when you're checking out the show on Friday or Sunday night. And
by the way, it's still the 2 beer limit? I feel like when you go to a sporting event now, it's like if I ask for 3 beers, or like the limit's 2 because they hit me with that.
Oh, yeah, you can only buy 2.
It was a Sounders game a couple of years ago. I was trying to get 3 beers, and the guy goes, man, I can only say 2. My kid's in line with me. He was 10 years old. It's like, cool. I was like, hey, dude, hold these. I'm like, can I get 2 more beers? Then the guy, it's like, I'm like, look, I'm the one who'll get in trouble. Right. My kid, he's just holding the beer.
I would recommend if you're in that situation, it's always good to have a jacket pocket.
Yes.
You know, I maybe did that last night. So I just put the beer in the pocket and
just got another.
Got myself a double.
That's a good thing.
There's ways around this. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying that.
But you can.
You can buy as many Men's Room IPA Black Ravens as humanly possible. Hopefully, if you can pull that off. And some updated locations coming up on that for you. And today on the question, we're going to talk about the side hustle, so to speak, legal or not. What was your side hustle to make some extra cash? It seems like back in the day, people did have side and odd jobs they would do for extra money.
Sure.
But it's become more common as the economy has done what it's done. There's a number of teachers out there that have extra jobs and tutor.
Because they have to.
Yeah, and tutor on the side. Jobs that normally would support either a family or at least the majority of it no longer are able to do so. But in your lifetime, there's always been times where if the opportunity was present or there was just a way where you could make some extra cash, you took advantage of that.
Sure.
And, as far as just basic ways to make money. I know for a fact that when I was in college, not a lot of income coming in. Obviously, you're going to school full time. You have some other gigs on the side, but the idea of donating plasma once or twice, if you could, I think it was every 2 weeks, you could get plasma.
It's a pretty quick turnaround on that.
And it was always advertised in the school newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
And so, a group of me and my friends, roommates, we would all go together, like 3 or 4 of us at a time, get that cash, and then the first thing we would do is go straight to the bar.
Yeah, of course.
That's the first
That's what you want money for.
We're going to spend it. We'll still have a little extra left, but immediately after. And I think that was one of the only things they told you not to do.
Oh, of course.
Be sure just not to drink any alcohol for a little while. Since
we're in college, right? So we're not listening to you. Okay.
And they gave cash.
Yeah.
God bless them. They gave you cash when you went in and you donate. And, when you donate blood, that's a different world. You're not really doing that for any monetary gain, but plasma.
You're doing it to be a good person, Miles.
Correct. Plasma, and we did give blood too, because they would offer you like a free thermos or a mini cooler.
Sure.
Or they enticed you into kind of giving blood on campus, so to speak. So there was oh man, we need a cooler, man. It's a little igloo cooler. All right, let's give blood.
Yeah, why not?
Whatever the deal was, but plasma, you got cash. So
that's why a lot of drug addicts get plasma and not blood.
I want to say it was $50. I don't.
Well, plasma stays okay too, right?
I believe that it does, but like Miles said, they handed you cash. So I knew a lot of guys at that time that was a real popular thing to do. A lot of the cats I knew were on heroin. So they always wanted, extra cash, whether they had a job or not. Most of them did not at the time. But, yeah, they get plasma, man. And, you'd see them later at the bar. They were not drinking, but they're in a place called the Shooting Gallery right behind this particular bar. Stoned to the bejesus. He gave plasma.
I had a buddy that did he did an experiment. Well, it just wasn't FDA approved yet, but it was a drug that was on the way to being FDA approved. And he was one of the people that participated in the study as far as side effects and all those things.
I would never do that because when they tell you the side effects, like your buddy potentially is one of these people. Like low occurrence of death.
What if it's fun, though?
What they were studying was one that had to do with your blood pressure rising. So, your heart's just beating out of its chest kind of thing. So that was one of the things that they were looking into with the drug that he took. He did not have any side effects, but he got paid pretty well. It was like a 6-week trial study that he was on. And I believe that drug eventually got FDA approval. I don't know that. Whatever the name was for the generic version or the trial version.
It's not what they're going to call it.
It's not what Pfizer's calling it by the time it's done. So I'm not exactly sure what he did, but all kinds of ways to make money in the weirdest of ways. Or you could just be rich already. The Taylor Swift economy continues to hum, as they say. Brothers Travis and Jason Kelce have signed a $100 million podcast deal with the Wondery unit in Amazon, according to Variety. Their New Heights show, a mix of sports talk, interviews, and pop culture, had been popular already in its own right, but it became a bona fide hit when Travis began dating Taylor Swift last year. Per the Wall Street Journal, as you know, Travis plays for the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. Jason has retired as a player from the Philadelphia Eagles. He was also a Super Bowl champ. The weekly show, which will remain available on all the usual podcast platforms, will begin its 3rd season today. Per NBC News, the Journal sees the deal as part of the latest podcasting trend in which a few blockbuster shows are attracting the biggest audiences and the biggest advertisers. Last month, Wondery signed Dax Shepard to an $80 million deal for his Armchair Expert show.
Good God.
There was another woman who just got signed this week to about $120 million podcast.
And Dax Shepard's been doing that one for a while. Are you talking about the Call Me Daddy podcast?
That's correct.
Right. So, at least with those two, they have been doing that for a while.
Mm-hmm. They have, but
the Kelce's, I'm like, all right.
But they're both weekly, right?
I believe so. Yeah, Mike. What do we make off our? What do we make off our podcast that we do every day? The 4-hour podcast, the show podcast.
All in total, 0.
Yeah. How about the one we do on the weekend? It's all there on Odyssey. It's basically the best of.
The best of one.
It's about a 45-minute podcast. What do we make off that?
Those numbers are a little bit more different. 0.
Okay.
Mike, check out. There's a brand new episode of the podcast out today. I've been doing that 11 years.
Right.
500 some episodes.
500 episodes. Yep. You've amassed 0.
Yeah.
0. Okay, hold on. What about the Men's Room Happy Hour, the new weekly podcast that we do, and send it to you Friday? If you happen to subscribe to the daily podcast, you'll find that every Friday morning exclusively on Odyssey. What do we make off of that one?
Well, since that was added to the daily podcast feed, we make 0.
All right. Do you have any idea what we made off the Greatest Story Never Told podcast?
$5.
Well, we did get some money off that one.
All right.
Never mind, 0.
Right, there we go.
We're doing this wrong.
There we are.
Why are we coming in 5 days a week when apparently what we need to do is pre-record, do one show 1 day a week, and then make $80 to $120 million to barely do
well, the nice thing
goddamn
is,
thing.
These guys, I mean, Dak Shepard, obviously he's got a successful podcast.
Sure.
The Kelsey brothers, they are already pretty well off in their own right. So
yeah, you could say that.
They could do this or not, but my God, $100 million is probably more than Jason Kelsey made in how many years playing NFL football when you're a center?
11 seasons.
No, I know he's one of the best that's ever played the position, right?
Yeah, but they still don't pay them well.
Centers are not a high tickets position as far as offense is concerned.
They should be, but they're not.
Yeah, offensive tackle, they can still make bank. Tight ends can make bank, but between the guards and the center, sometimes they don't get the compensation as far as the offensive unit is concerned.
And they really should.
Theirs is a week. I think Call Her Daddy might be more than a week.
Who's Call Her Daddy? That's the
that
chick,
was
right?
Right, and they started on Barstool.
Yeah,
there was two of them, and then one of them wanted to stay with Barstool. She was like, "I think we can make more money," so they left. It was like a big deal. But her podcast is on Spotify. The only one that outdoes her is Rogan.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
And is he once a week, or is he more than once a week?
He's more. Is he once a week? Okay. Yeah. Joe puts out a few.
Okay.
And they're long.
Almost positive.
They're
he's
2 or 3 hours
right?
or whatever they are. He's putting in the time.
And credit to Rogan. He, again, he's one of the original people that, put out podcasts that stuck with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I interviewed him many years ago, and he was exactly what you think Joe Rogan is when you talk to him or listen to him now. He hasn't really changed too much as far as just his overall personality stance. He was hosting Fear Factor at the time when he came in, and he was also doing stand-up because he started out doing stand-up comedy before he got on television and everything else. But he just can't. He kind of came in and took over the show.
We
just has
tried
that kind of
to interview him, and look, I wrote him off years ago for one reason, and it's just a personal thing. Right? So I don't care what he does, I don't care what he says. It means nothing to me. But tried to get an interview because they reached out to us, as they do, right? Hey, man, he's going to be in town. So we'd love to have him on the show. And I think it's the same deal. It's probably around the same time.
Yeah, it was.
But,
had to be.
We were on an AM station, and his response was, I don't do interviews on AM stations.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
In that moment, I was like, dead to me. Gone. Like I said, and I know he's super successful, very popular. Obviously, me not liking him has no impact on his life. But in that moment, so that's why, people get mad about things he says. I'm like, I don't care. Don't bring him up to me. Once I heard that, I'm like, F this guy.
Did he call? I feel like he called in.
Yeah, and found out we're on AM.
I think Sis or one of us was talking to us. We were pumped, and then he was like, I don't do AM. Like, ooh.
Yeah, he'd already called in. Not quite on the air yet, but found out it was an AM station. Nope. I was like, F that guy.
Tyrese.
And I ruined his career.
Yes, you did.
Got him. Gotcha, Joe.
Tyrese has opened up about his childhood in a new episode of the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast. I believe he revealed to
you
host,
should be the voice guy for that.
Gilly the Kid and Wallow that his mother schemed with Tyrese and his brother to get money from the government and help out the family. My mama made us go to the Social Security building and play the R word challenge, so to speak. Oh. Tyrese said at around the 25-minute mark of the podcast, straight up, government cheese, he added, laughing. That was my first real acting gig. Wallow agreed, calling Tyrese's mother his first director. I'm like 8 years old, and she said, this is what we're going to do. We got to go into this county building, and if you all end up doing this, we're going to get $760 a month. And your mama could use this. I'm here, we in the hood. I'm working and trying to keep up. This for y'all. You got two, your sisters, your brother. Tyrese then clarified that in his scheme, he and his brother would get $762 apiece. Mom says, when we get up in there, delay your answers. She didn't say play the R word. She didn't use the word, but she was just basically like, we got to go up in there and believe y'all got some serious issues. And I guess it worked.
Yeah.
They must have done a pretty good job.
Delay your answers.
8 years old.
What's your name, young man? Tyrese.
Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
That's brutal.
It is, man, but delay your answers. How you doing today, young man? I'm good. Next.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is that all it takes? How old are you, son? 9.
It says here you're 8.
Maybe.
You don't even know how old you are, do you?
I'm impressed. I mean, I'm not impressed, but it's like, at least, I don't know. You feel like kids sometimes just can't help it to be like they would just answer quickly. Be like, I'm fine.
And this sounds bad the way it's going to come out of my mouth. Kids are too honest. Said I'm trying to get my kid in some movie, whatever the hell it was. I don't want to see the movie, but if you were under 7, I think it was, or under 6, whatever it was, the ticket was cheaper. So I'm like, hey, man, if they ask, just tell the guy you're 6 years old. So, of course, they asked my son's age. Well, my dad wanted me to tell you I'm 6, but I'm 7. I'm like, God, jeez, dude.
Yep.
I know I told you not to lie, but ignore me. Lie to the man.
Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code STYLE at checkout. That's harrys.com, code STYLE. Enjoy!
All right, parents, it's back to school time, and I've got a secret for you. There's a drama-free way to make vitamins part of your kid's morning routine. Lil Critters Gummy Vitamins. You see, my kids think they're just eating fun, delicious gummy bears, but little do they know, they're getting essential nutrients for their health and development.
Mom, we know they're vitamins.
As I was saying, kids absolutely love, and apparently know, these are vitamins. Lil Critters is the pediatrician-recommended kids multivitamin gummy brand, and the yummy way to start the school year.
Better health isn't always about the big things. Sometimes it's a nudge from a friend, or a head nod from a fellow jogger, or even a smile from across the breakfast table when you've decided to pass on the bacon. It's the little things that lead to better health, and Regence is here as a partner, opening doors to the care you need, no matter the size, because it all adds up to something big, a healthier you. Regence Blue Shield. Together we health.
The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
Couple of quick texts here. Says I sold cigarettes in high school. I'd buy a couple of pounds of pipe tobacco, some tubes, and a rolling machine. I made packs and cartons of cigarettes for super cheap and then sold them at a premium but cheaper price than a pack that you could get at the store. Now, don't call me a monster. Monster! You had to be at least a junior to buy a pack. I made about $300 a month my junior and senior year. Then they add, before I sold cigarettes in high school, I sold floppy disks full of porn in middle school. I was a real entrepreneur.
Floppy disks.
Floppy disks. And by the way, as far as donating plasma, someone here says these days you put your plasma on a payment card, but you do get it right after. And somebody adds, I've been donating plasma twice a week for the last 6 years. I'm getting between $90 to $120 a week. It's also dad time to watch my effing shows and not Blippi or Paw Patrol.
Okay. All right.
Bro, I feel you on Paw Patrol. Jesus, pretty good. That show is annoying. Hello, Cheyenne. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Nope. Hang on. There's
Hello,
nothing there.
Yeah. Unmute it, Cheyenne.
Now we'll go back to him.
And we'll go back to him. Hello, Ellie. Welcome to the men's room.
Howdy, partners.
Hola.
Hey, so I guess, I don't know if it, at the time it really wasn't a side hustle. It was kind of my main hustle, but allegedly I used to make fake IDs.
Allegedly.
And allegedly. Well, I guess not really allegedly. I already got a couple of felonies for it, so it's kind of...
Wow. So you got busted
felonies?
with felonies? All right, so how long did you make IDs before you got busted the first time?
Probably about like a year and a half.
All right, what was your technique at the time?
Well, so it was a good couple of years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago, back when the old Washington IDs were still in circulation. They were a lot easier to do. I just trained myself how to do Photoshop. You just kind of print them on these cards you can buy online and stuff. It's really easy.
How much were you selling these IDs for?
I was selling them for about like $600 a pop.
All right. Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
how many?
I would make them for people who had like warrants and stuff. So they were paying like a lot, and I was pretty good at it. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but these were IDs like you could straight up hand to a cop and it would be cleared, like nothing.
How do people find out about your services?
Yeah, I was going to say, how did you solicit this information? I mean, you just don't run with felons all the time, do you? Or people who have a warrant?
Well, at the time I was really heavy in the drug game.
Okay.
So it was pretty easy.
Okay, yeah, that definitely makes it easy. And how many of these do you think you sold at $600 a pop?
Oh, geez. I would probably... I don't know. I probably make like 1 or 2 a week for people. So
damn. Okay. What? How did you get busted?
Well, I got pulled over in a car that wasn't mine. That my friend was driving, and they seized the car. And when they searched it, they found a baggie with a couple of IDs and fake checks tucked up under the center console, and so I got slapped with 5 felonies for that, forgery and identity theft.
Did you go to jail?
Well, so I did go to jail for a little bit, but I did they have a program called DOSA, which is Drug Offender Sentencing Alternative, right?
All right.
And instead of going to prison, so instead of doing 14 months in prison, I got to go to a treatment facility for 3 months and then 2 years of community custody, which I just completed that like 2 months ago. So I'm off paper officially and totally turned my life around and everything.
Nice. Okay, so you're clean now, I'm guessing.
Yes.
And what do you do now for money?
Well, I'm a delivery driver for a metal foundry, so I'm completely legit now. I work like probably 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, and it's a lot less money than I was making, but it's
what happens when you do things legally.
All right, so as a delivery...
I mean, look, it's gonna be tougher, but like you don't have to worry about going to jail or like losing your house or
what. Do people still? So I'm guessing, are there any felons still reach out to you, not knowing that you've done that? You've had to go through the legal stuff.
It was. I did like when I first got popped and stuff, but not anymore. I mean, like I said, it's been a couple of years since I was doing all that,
Okay.
so it's part of getting clean. You cut all ties with the people that people you used to use with, because like they say, you hang around a barbershop long enough and you're bound to get a haircut.
Well,
I haven't heard that one.
I haven't heard that
like
saying, but
Okay.
What about me? I'm bald.
Even you, Ted.
Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
I was wondering about that. It's like I had a bunch of buddies that made fake IDs in high school. And it's like, oh, you were making them for criminals.
And apparently doing a very legit job.
Right. Well, fake checks.
Like she said, man, it passed the cop test. It's one thing to pass the bouncer test, right? Because, they just kind of glance at it, whatever. And deep down, they don't care. And there's no legal issue for them. But, with the cop, if I can hand a cop a fake ID and he can't tell, that is quality work.
Well, I mean, there is legal.
I mean,
Like
there is, right. But I mean,
but also, it's just so hard nowadays. Like, I graduated in 1999.
Yeah.
Like, holograms weren't a thing on IDs.
Correct.
They were incredibly easy to
Well,
make.
that's one, because look, there's a couple of things I'm glad I did not have to experience in my youth. One was social media. The other is because I also had a fake ID when I was younger. I'm glad we didn't have the hologram thing going yet.
Oh, no. We always took also the easiest state to replicate in the area.
What was the easiest?
At the time, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
Just being
everyone was from Pennsylvania.
And the good news
I was from Delaware.
Being in a college town, there were a lot of out-of-state IDs.
Yeah, of course.
So if you're in the middle of nowhere and there's not a lot of people, traveling there or visiting your
You're
town.
from Nevada, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
Exactly. So it wasn't as obvious. But I do remember in high school, there was one girl, and she had an older sister who was a senior in college. Now, their scam was that her older sister said, look, I'm just going to go into the DMV and tell them that I lost my license, and I'm going to get a new license made. I'll give you my old one. So she was a guarantee. She was a guarantee on getting booze anytime you were at a party, anytime you needed to call someone and say, hey, we're throwing down, man. She's always invited. We'll give
If you got the ID, you're
we'll give you some
invited.
extra cash. And it was her sister's picture. It was her sister's ID, and she looked a lot exactly like her sister. So it worked. I mean, she was golden. Absolutely.
I mean, that's what I did. In high school, I had terrible ones.
What was your New Jersey name?
That was Delaware.
Delaware, sorry.
Salinon Alto Tapio. Sal Tapio. Sal Tapio. Sal Tapio.
You look like a Sal Tapio.
I'll tell you what, Sal Tapio, getting into places when you're like 17 was pretty fun.
Did you always go,
Hey, Salinon.
Use my freaking ID.
I don't know.
Sal Tapio. You just don't look like a Sal or a Tapio.
No.
I'd be like,
I'm pretty
bro.
sure that's like an East Indian.
I mean, you could be a Tony because your middle name.
Yeah, but
Sure.
Salinon.
But
That's probably the
Sal.
ID is the full
But it
name.
was right. It was Delaware, and that thing worked pretty good. Miles, you went. You lived in Morgantown. Like in College Park, there's like 4 or 5 bars, but you knew which one. Like Santa Fe. I don't know what it is now, but you couldn't go to Santa Fe because they checked that hard. But Sal Tapio worked pretty good. And then when I got out of high school, I started working at a liquor store. One of the guys that worked with me, he was like, dude, we look enough alike. He was already 22.
All right.
So that's what he did. He said he lost it, and he gave me that one. And that one worked perfect till the day before my birthday.
That was
I'm 21.
that was the only bar I could get in College Park before I turned 21.
Santa Fe?
Santa Fe. That was the only one. Because my buddy Scott was a DJ. They had like a window up in the wall where the DJ booth was.
Yeah.
And he used to DJ. So he knew all the bouncers, all the bartenders. He was underage. So it was just kind of an agreement. Like my buddy's coming into town. Just throw
That
it.
was the only. All right, so that was the other place that I was scared to use my ID there, even the one that looked like me, right?
Right.
But I was like, I'll risk it. And there's this bouncer who looked like a cop already, who ends up becoming a cop.
Okay.
And he just gives it one look and goes, "That is not you." And I go, "What?" And he goes, I'm in the same fraternity. And I go, "Yeah, man, I work with Tugboat." And he's like, "Get in there."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then I ran into him in Ocean City. There's this massive bar called Secrets.
Yeah.
They are very strict. It's same thing, like massive line. At this point, he's a cop in Ocean City. And I walk in and he just, how they click on the light just in your eyes?
Yeah.
And he just clicks it on. He goes, "You better not cause any trouble." Clicks it off.
Oh, nice.
Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Cheyenne. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
So, once upon a time, I'm a motivational speaker, but I also used to be a life coach, and that was what I did on the side. And
what exactly is a life coach?
How can you coach people on having a life when you live in Wyoming or wherever the hell you are? South Dakota. I mean, that
South
seems
Dakota,
like
Miles.
I know. Okay, that's even worse. I mean, you're going to tell me how to have a life, and you're in South Dakota? I mean, I'm just.
Well, I lived in Seattle for quite a few years, so I'm not just from South Dakota.
I understand that. It's just what it looks like on paper.
But what does a life coach do? Like, if you're my life coach, what are we even talking about?
Getting a life.
Well, we kind of sit down, iron out what some of your goals might be, and then we iron out a plan how you might want to achieve them.
Okay.
Whether it's professional, personal, whatever it might be. The funny thing was a lot of the work was over the phone, and then much similar to an overnight DJ when they used to still have those, sometimes people would, because it was late at night, people, it did go a dirty direction. I never partook in it, but it was, that was kind of funny sometimes.
Wait, what?
What?
So,
what do you mean a dirty direction?
So you're talking to someone about how to achieve their goals, etc., and then How did they drop the hint that maybe they wanted to get dirty? Like, I love listening to when you say it.
Hey, you have a nice voice, and then it would go, and then they'd go from there.
You never took advantage.
No, what
of
is this? Are you getting charged by the minute? Are they getting charged by the time that you're on the phone?
It's usually per like every 2 hours, or I think that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Cheyenne, you bring up people when I was working as an overnight DJ, as it was, listening to Bette Midler's "Wind Beneath My Wings" and the rest of this crap. This woman would call me every night.
Wasn't that Deborah or something? Wasn't that her name or something?
Yeah, her name was Deborah. And I mean, she would break out all of her sex toys and all this stuff, and she's on the phone. So I'm like grabbing CDs and putting things away in the studios, which you had to do back then. And I just had her on speaker. So like Bette Midler singing in the background, and there's this woman, Deborah. Oh. So I'd be like, Deborah, hang on one second. Hang on. Click. You're listening to WLIF. That was Bette Midler wasting your time with "Wind Beneath My Wings." Here comes the man with the biggest forehead ever, Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Kill the mic, go back to her. Oh, yeah. It was like every freaking night. And I'm not doing anything in return. I'm just putting stuff away, and she is just going to town on
There was a woman who would call in when I was working the overnights, and she would call at 3 o'clock in the morning, and she was up all night, and she'd call around 6 o'clock right before I would get off the air. And she always wanted to know the weather. She wanted to know the time. She knew everybody's name individually.
The time?
The time. She wanted to know the weather.
Look at your clock, you dumbass.
It's 6 o'clock, Marge. She go, okay. And you'd say, she said, what's the weather like
When
today?
I was a kid, we used to call for the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing today? Well, I'm going to get off work and I'm going to go to bed because I've been up all night. Okay, well, I was going to go to the grocery store, blah, 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 blah. She called the news director at the radio station. She called the midday person. Then I believe she went to sleep in the afternoon, slept in the evening, and woke up and was up all night. So one morning, my boss, Hoppy, comes in and he goes, hey, have you heard from Marge in the last couple of days? I said, no, I did not. I have not actually not heard from her. He said, I have not heard from her either. I'm calling the cops. And I said, you're calling the cops? He goes, this is not normal. She's called me every single day for the past 5 years to ask me the same questions as time and weather. So sure enough, Hoppy calls the cops in Star City. They go to her home. She had slipped inside her bathtub in her house, and she was okay, but she could not get out of her bathtub. She either broke her
bathtub for 5 days.
Two or 3 days. She okay. There. So either way, it was smart that he just was proactive about the fact that she did not call, and they got her ass out of there. And then like nothing ever happened. A week later, she called and go, hi, Miles. What time is it? 3 o'clock, Marge. What's the weather like today? It's going to be cloudy. Marge, are you able to get up? Are you able to move around? Well, no, but I have a caregiver coming over. Okay, all right. Well, you doing okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
Damn.
It was weird. Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
That doesn't seem as weird as Thrill Story.
Well, yeah.
She wasn't weird. It's just, hey, man, she liked my voice, and every freaking night. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. And like I said, just put her on speaker, just let her do her thing. And I'm like, all right, man. Basically kept me company in the overnight shift. Never knew what she looked like, and I know it had to be heinous.
Yeah.
Like something like deep inside. Like she sounded cute, but in my mind, I'm like, I don't know. She looks like Borscht sounds. Just not good.
Yeah, going off sound of voice. Like, I work in radio. Don't go off sound of voice.
Man. When I first got in radio, there were a lot of surprises. You've been listening to these people, and this is pre-internet, man, so you don't know what they look like, especially the sports station, because all they do is talk. And I'm listening to Raven stuff, and I remember, the first month I'm there, you keep meeting all these people who you've heard of or heard on the radio, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, that guy's ugly. Jesus Christ, that guy's short. I hope that guy never makes a public appearance.
It's like reading a book. When a woman reads a romance novel or a guy, whatever, you have a perception about what that man looks like. And that is your ideal man or woman or whatever the deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you see the movie and you're like, half the reason it sucks is because that's not really what you were envisioning. And they obviously didn't follow the story by the book to the
right, blah, 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 all that other stuff.
But you have a vision of what you believe. And then when that becomes whatever it is somewhat real, you're like, nah, like that didn't make me horny. Like I'm not.
Right, it doesn't work anymore.
This is not who I want. He has a beard. He's got a chiseled jaw, and he's got brown hair, not blonde hair, whatever the deal is.
My thought was she had bigger boobs. She had bigger boobs and a better ass. That is what I had. If it's going to be that thing with sexy time, right, whoever this woman is, she is a smoke show.
Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
It's like watching somebody get up from a table.
What do you mean?
sometimes the top half can be very attractive.
Oh, yeah.
That was the biggest bitch about 50 whatever Shades of Grey. The book was very popular before the movie came.
Yeah, my wife read it. All of her friends read it.
And, then you go to the movie, and maybe the actors or the actress doesn't depict what.
So they were dumping on the guy that played whoever his name is?
It just wasn't who they wanted it to be. It wasn't because it's a very sensual book. It wasn't what they envisioned when they were thinking. Your wife would like the guy from what was the historical show? The black dude.
Oh, Bridgerton.
Yeah, not historical.
Dude,
but back in time.
he would definitely, that would be her guy.
Yeah.
Or the guy that sells shoes at Nordstrom downtown. That is her other big-ass crush. Whoever you are, just know.
Yep.
Well, look, I never read the book, but she told me, she said, look, dude, it's just smutty. It's all sex, blah, blah, blah. So when they did cast the movie, for me, never reading the book, Dakota Fanning, I think that's her name, is that? No, Dakota Johnson?
There you go.
Okay, yeah, so Dakota Johnson. She's not ugly, but in my mind, that is not who I would have picked.
Dakota Johnson sounds like the name of someone who can guess your penis size.
Dakota Johnson.
To
decode a Johnson.
Give me your hand here. Let me look at your fingers. All right. Yeah. I bet you're... Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This is NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association. It's Gun Storage Check Week and National Suicide Prevention Month. Securely storing firearms can help prevent suicide. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to deter unwanted access. Learn more at gunstoragececk.org and enter to win a gun safe. That's gunstoragececk.org. If you or someone you know is struggling, call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
It's Gun Storage Check Week and National Suicide Prevention Month. Securely storing your firearms can help prevent suicide. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to deter unwanted access. Learn more at gunstoragececk.org and enter to win a gun safe. That's gunstoragececk.org. If you or someone you know is struggling, call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
KISW proudly presents the first ever Halloween Hullabaloo starring Godsmack and Hailstorm Sunday, October 13th, Showware Center. The reason I'm telling you, 4-packs are on sale right now for $99.
Uh-huh.
So everybody gets in for $25 a piece as you get the remaining tickets. For that show, head to KISW.com and score those now. On a question, legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Eric. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Hey, guys. First-time caller, long-time listener, so thanks for having me on.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Just to give you some context, I've been listening to you since I was 17, and I'm 34 now.
Good God.
Golly. So half your life.
Yes, I've been listening to you half my life.
That's something.
And I'm
Anyway.
very gracious to hear that, but it just makes us feel old as hell.
Now my back hurts more.
So my side hustle, pretty standard when you're in college. I sold a bunch of weed when I was in college.
About how much weed do you think you were moving a week?
Maybe like 3 ounces a week.
All right. So you're basically
You know?
selling eighths and quarters.
Exactly. Yeah, $20 here, $40 there. It was back during when medical marijuana was a thing.
Okay.
So I had my medical card. I would go get some pot from my mother, who was growing for us at the time. And then I'd drive back to college, and I'd sell it to all my college buddies.
All right. Did you ever sell before you got into college, or was college when it began?
Yeah, it was in college. Right after high school, when I was like 18, 19, that's when I started selling pot, just because it was so expensive to buy the stuff on your own.
I do miss the medical dispensaries. I still think you could make a pretty good profit off those places.
Oh, I'm sure.
Now, granted, you have to have a card, and you have to go to the doctor, and I think my doctor's visit was $100 for the whole thing.
Yeah, you get the card, it's worth it.
But, they had big jars, open them up, nugs, you can smell them, and I don't know, it's kind of like going to a deli and getting a freshly made sandwich instead of one they already prepackaged.
Yeah,
you know
agreed.
what I'm saying?
What did you end up doing? What do you do for a living now?
I have a job with the government that I do not want to disclose.
Okay,
that's a good call. Fair enough.
And
Yeah.
just quickly, do they drug test at your government job?
No, they do not.
All right, good.
Sure.
Good.
All right.
They shouldn't, man. That's always my thought. Like, if I'm not operating heavy machinery and all the rest, and even then, like if there's drugs in my system, there's a difference between drugs in my system and me being high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you show up to work high, that's one thing. If you go, well, there's weed in your system, like, well, no kidding. I got stoned last night.
Or 3 weeks ago.
You still got to figure out a way to test if people are high on weed at the moment, right? Because at the end of the day, right, like, I've known a lot of people in government agencies and this and that. Growing up in D.C., I'm like, they drank a ton. They would do some cocaine, but it all gets out of your system so quick, they would never get caught.
That's why Coke is your go-to if you have a drug test coming up.
Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
That's not how I thought you were going to end that.
That's not really like a PSA.
Thought you were going to be like, if you get drug tested, but hey, you got one coming up? Do a couple lines tonight.
Well, I mean, it depends. It's what, out of your system in like 3 days, something like that? So if I know I have one, say, next week, I could blow through lines tonight and be fine.
It also depends on your metabolism to some degree.
Yeah. But you should be okay, so get all coked up, everybody. Hello, Wade. Welcome to the men's room.
Well, liquor and whores there, bitches.
Hola.
Hola. So, yeah, when I was a much younger lad, a friend of mine introduced me to this girl, and she just happened to be a stripper. We dated for like about a year or whatever, and she would work the club like during the week or whatever, but on the weekends or whatnot, actually her side hustle became my side hustle. She'd grab up one of the girls from the club, whatever, and they'd go do like bachelor parties and that kind of stuff, different events or whatever. And they would hire me to come with them and drive them and be security for them. And it was a pretty good gig, man. I mean, it came with food, booze, drugs, I mean, all that stuff.
Were you going into the parties with them, or were you just outside in case anything went down?
No. I was in the club with them, man. It's funny you asked that because one guy, he was eyeballing me the whole time, and I was just like, wasn't really mean mugging me, but he was eyeballing me, and he comes up to me, he's like, all right, which one of these girls is your girlfriend? I'm like, no, none of them, because I can't, like, ruin their tips or anything.
Right.
You got to make them think that they can still have a chance.
Sure.
You know what I mean? No, but it was a good gig, man. So I'd drive them there, and I'd just kind of sit there and watch the whole show, and I got to see free boobies and everything else, and it was a solid gig. And then we would just go home, and then who knows what happened after that? Yeah.
How long did your security gig last?
Well, we dated about a year. I mean, she made more money in 4 hours than I'd make in like 2 or 3 days, at the club.
Yeah, I can believe that.
She bought my first double bass drum pedal for my drum set.
Oh, that was nice of her.
I mean, anytime I've seen strippers in a house for a bachelor party, there's always security with them that's in the house.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially if you're going out of town. Like, I would take them up north, up to Seattle or whatever. We were based out of Tacoma here, undisclosed strip club. You've probably been there, but
undisclosed that you've been to many times.
Yeah, but
it's on a small woodland.
We got a picture of you up in the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I never even used to go watch her dance or anything. I really don't like strip clubs as much because I don't know, it's just too much pressure. Girls coming and licking your ears and wanting to spend money that I don't have, and no, I just let her go to work and make money, and then they'd pay me like a flat fee to take them, and then they split some of their tips with them. And then again, like I said, I got all the free. You guys were just talking about cocaine back then. Yeah, that was everywhere back then. So it was a pretty good gig, man, side gig.
Okay.
I wish there was a job that I said, like, look, we're going to bring you onto the radio station. Now, we know what you asked for financially, and we can't quite cover that. But 2 of our sales assistants, they walk around topless, so there's free boobies, and there's always cocaine in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically, that was his sales pitch. Like, yeah, they give me money, drugs, and boobs.
Do you remember that little, when Geo first came out, they had a little tiny Metro that was a 2-seat convertible car, and they had it in a Smurf blue?
The one that had the weird angle in the front?
It was a strange-looking car, but it was just a little tiny-ass convertible.
All right.
So my roommate, Jamie, that's the car he drove. He was a steroid guy. He was pretty buff and jacked up. But that's what he did. He did bachelorette parties and any of those type things. So he had like red bow ties with glitter on them, or sequins and different outfits that he would wear. Like he had his standard cop / fireman /
right
kind of outfit. But man, he had some stories. He was his own bodyguard.
But, if you're that buff.
But typically what he would do is
he's performing for women, right?
Yeah, he would bring a CD. So his thing was, all I need is a CD player, and then I can start the show. So that was basically, he's his own little mobile DJ thing, puts a CD in wherever he is, they turn it on, he starts doing his stuff, gets manhandled, gets his money, and then drives back in that little ass car.
What kind of money was he making doing that?
He was making pretty good money, to be honest with you. He was not doing it was the frequency when he was able to do it.
Sure.
Because they had a bunch of guys that would do it. So they would end up going up to Pittsburgh and to other towns in the area. And he was part of a quote-unquote local male review. He actually danced with, what's his face?
Channing
Tatum.
Yeah.
So that was a part of that group that would go around the tri-state area.
So Channing Tatum did that crap for real, right?
In West Virginia.
Okay, yeah.
So he was kind of part of that troupe. He might not have, I know he knew him. I don't know if they were it's like Menudo.
Right.
He was in the band, but I don't know if they were there at the same time.
Yeah, like the Thunder from Down Under. I don't think those are all the original members.
There's no way. No. They'd look a lot worse.
Yeah. Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Brandon. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Yeah, just out of high school, starting college, I used to work for a parking lot company in Sacramento, and they had lots all over downtown. This is back before they, had the electronic scanner tickets and all that. It was a manual thing with a timestamp clock, and so we had these 2-part tickets. And after a while, I'd get to know the people that would park all day long, and all-day parking, if you didn't have an early bird special or anything, was about $50 a day. So I would take about 10 or 12 of those tickets, and I'd pre-stamp them right before they would come in. So they were 2-part tickets, and you'd stamp the bottom when they came in and gave them the top half, and when they left, you'd stamp the leaving time on the second half and match the tickets up. And I would pre-stamp some that would only show 10 or 15 minutes worth of parking when I know they'd be there all day. So at the end of the day, they would pay me about $50, and I would pocket about 45 of that. So yeah, this.
How long did you pull this off?
Oh, for probably about a couple years till I got a different job.
Damn.
Yeah, I was surprised they never caught on. I mean, I was probably doing about $300-400 a day.
300 or 400 a day. Wow, man.
Oh yeah. Well, that lot would bring in like close to $3,500 or $4,000 a day just in parking.
Damn. Okay. We used to have, in Fremont, there used to be kind of by where Norm's is. The parking lot was a mailbox slot with a little slot, and you put money into it. Man, you'd see people with coat hangers
all the time
digging money out. Successfully.
Oh, successfully. I've never seen it. I've seen people try it. I've never seen them get anything out.
Because you have to kind of basically fold the bill before you put it in there.
Yeah.
So if you could just hook it, through the thing and pull it right out.
There were some guys outside of D.C. or in D.C. area called Georgetown. And there was this one parking lot, and it had maybe 100 spots to park. But these two guys, basically, you rolled in, you paid the money, you parked your car. And when you came back, all of your stuff was there. It was fine. And, it was known that if you park in this parking lot, I think it was like $20 a car. So the deal was pretty good, especially in a place like D.C. And they're the same two guys all the time. And they were real nice, very professional. About 4 years later, I found out they got arrested because it wasn't a paid parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
These guys basically just had a sign. They stood outside. And, I saw them probably once a month when I went down there. Had absolutely no idea. And me and my girlfriend at the time were watching the news, and they bring these guys up. And I'm like, yeah, man, they made thousands of dollars doing this, but the thing was, no one was suspicious because they always kind of dressed the same. They were super professional, Mm-hmm. You can park a car in A4 over there. We'll take care of it. We'll make sure nobody steals anything. And they did. And when the bars closed and you went out, they were still there. Your vehicles were safe, and they just, mountains of cash.
The Preakness horse race in Baltimore, the second leg of the Triple Crown, it's in a neighborhood. It's an old school track in an old school neighborhood. So I went. I think
old school's one way to describe it.
Yeah, I went there.
That neighborhood.
Second time.
Yes.
Yeah, second time.
Ratty ghetto.
Well, no, it's just it's kind of interesting. It's a lot like Key Arena. You can't just believe, or Climate Pledge. You can't just believe it sits in the middle of
middle of a neighborhood
with no parking or anything like that. So I go to park my car, and I'm parking in front of this house. The guy goes, "You can't park there." And I said, "Why not?" He said, "Well, your car's probably going to get towed, or something bad's going to happen to it." And I said, "Well." I said, working on parking. He's like, well, you're going to park in my yard. And I'm like, I'm going to park in your yard. He's like, yeah, it's going to cost you $20. He's like, if you park in front of my house, something's going to happen to your car. It's going to be towed.
Yeah.
And I said, so you want me to pull up on your lawn? He's like, yeah, why don't you pull right behind this car over here? And it's going to be $20. I said, why would I do that? He says, to protect your car.
If something bad's going to happen to
your car.
I don't know how to explain this to you.
When I was a kid, when you went to a Commanders game back in the day, right? They played at RFK Stadium.
Yeah.
Which, again, is in Southwest. They've done a lot of stuff to that neighborhood.
It's still not a good metro stop.
Right, but that was a terrible neighborhood. The same thing. My dad, if he drove down, we'd park at somebody's lawn and be like, is it okay? And he's like, that's why we're paying them. Because there was lots that were probably closer that you could pay for.
Cost a lot
He'd
more.
be like, trust me, as long as we're paying them, it's fine.
Oh, yeah, that makes all the difference in the world. Hell, we went to that with the Foo Fighters last week, whenever it was, and my wife's like, where should we park? I said, in the bottom of our building. Because then, and certain of us, we walked down toward the game or the stadium. Every parking lot was like $5 more, just the closer you get. Right, it's about 4 blocks away. It's like $25. We walk 1 block. Now it's $35. This one's $40. Once you're up to the state, it's $60.
I'll tell you something.
I'm shocked it's only 60. What they charge for like Seahawks games and
what
stuff.
are they charging for? I thought 60 was outrageous, and I just saw that one at the Foo Fighters. I can't believe
I could be wrong, but I feel like
more than $60.
I feel like a Seahawks game, you're getting closer to like 80 or 100.
Now here's the other.
If you're close to the stadium, I mean, it's ridiculous.
So the other side hustle was this. All the kids in the neighborhood, they would go to the local Giant, the equivalent of a QFC, and they would take the shopping carts, and they would return them.
Oh, yeah.
They would return. So this was the understanding. Basically, no one was going to the grocery store at that point in time because everything was so packed and stuff as far as the neighborhood. People would drop in and pick up a 12-pack or a case of beer to go into Preakness, but it was kind of an understood thing. So when you were getting your stuff out of your car, because believe it or not, you could take chairs, coolers, everything else.
It was like going to the beach.
Whatever. You had all your food that you could eat all day.
Correct. In the infield, yeah.
And when you went up there and so the kids would come up to you as you're unpacking your car and say, hey, mister, I will take all your stuff in and I will push it in the cart and take it in for you so you can just walk in. When you got to the ticket gate, okay, there's a tunnel that goes underneath to get to the infield.
Yeah.
Because it goes underneath the ground, so it doesn't interfere with the track, so you're not crossing the track. There's a tunnel. But you put you get your ticket stamped there. Now, if you were just regular Joe Schmo, you needed a ticket to get in. The kids who were doing the pushing and stuff, they got in carte blanche knowing that they're going to take your stuff in and they're going to turn right back around. They're going to go find someone else.
They got more customers.
So they just walked in. They were never questioned. Like, oh, he's with you? Okay, go ahead. Then they come back out, find somebody else, do the same exact thing, just go in and out all day.
What I liked was at the end of Preakness, particularly in the infield, because everyone has been drinking and people get sloppy drunk. So now, all those same kids that brought all of your crap in there, they're now lined up with their shopping carts at the end of that tunnel, kind of like taxis at an airport, because mostly women that I saw.
I was about to say, yeah.
Basically, their boyfriend picked up their very, very, very drunk, half-passed out girlfriend or wife, placed them in the shopping cart, and those kids would push them right back to
the car.
They
were waiting for you in the infield.
That's what I mean. Like
they were when you.
It was a taxi. Basically, you walked out there, they roll right over to you. You drop your poor drunk friend into this thing, and they rolled them right back to the car.
They sound the alarm for the horses to go, whatever, and you look over, man, and there'd be 20 kids.
They're all lined up.
They're all ready to go. First come, first serve. Just start packing it up.
And they made great money,
take
man.
A couple minutes, and you all want to get out of here. So
because they didn't overcharge. They were like $5 to push it, but they get 50 customers a day, man. Those kids are rolling and dough. Like you said, the thing I loved most was at the end of Preakness, they all took their shopping carts.
They did.
Back to the grocery store.
Because they could do it again next year if they did.
That's it. That's exactly it.
Yeah. Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803.
Dude, if you ever go to a game at the University of Michigan, like I always talk about, like across from the stadium, you could tailgate on the golf course, right? So, like, we're good people. We try to clean up your mess, right?
Sure.
Go to festivals, pack it in, pack it out. Well, in Michigan, I think it's 10 cents a can.
Ooh,
recycling is the highest in the country, right?
Right. So, like, after, like, being there for an hour, my buddy Bernie, he just chugs a beer. We're sitting in camping chairs, and he just throws it over his shoulder. What the F are you doing, man? He's like, hang on. Some kid will come by. And they did. And
they just scoop it up to...
Yeah. The only thing you got to be careful of is when it's crowded and gets close to game time, if you're not watching your beer, they'll just dump it out and take it.
Oh, yeah.
But it is funny. Like, I would recommend.
I would drink.
You could just sit there and toss cans out in the middle of this fairway, and some kid will come by within like a minute and grab it.
That's kind of cool. Hey, we were just talking about parking because I was saying, hey, we parked here. I didn't want to spend too much for Foo Fighters. Couple texts says, I was just at the preseason game this last weekend at Lumen Field. The north lot of Lumen Field for parking was $80. And they point out that's preseason. We continue. Metallica concert parking cost me, any guesses?
No.
$85. Someone else. We paid $80 across from the stadium at the garage for Foo Fighters. Such a joke, but we did watch the buses and cars and semis for the crew. We always park at the top of the garage for the view.
Okay.
God damn, $80, man.
Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Christopher. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitch, hola.
Hola.
So once upon a time in a land far away, I was in the Army, stationed in Germany, and I was a brand new smoker. And I was not hip to the action, but I was quickly educated by my peers who are also smokers. We would take our ration cards, which were issued by the United States Army, and go to the PX and load up on our full ration of cigarettes and sell them to the local Germans.
Is that because the cigarettes were just better tasting? I mean, so to speak.
We had requests for American Marlboro Reds and Pall Mall.
Pall Mall, okay.
How about like Jack Daniels or anything like that? Did they ever want,
Nah, they had their fill of all kind of liquor over there. You couldn't sell Germans liquor. They drank their own stuff.
Right.
But there was such a demand for American tobacco, and they were paying through the nose for crap German tobacco or whatever they bought local. They didn't want it. They were willing to pay a premium for American cigarettes. So here was the action. I was taught by my sergeant to take the ration card before you first use it and put a layer of Elmer's glue on top with a Q-tip, just as fine as you could. Because you went to the PX, they would check off on your paper ration card that you got your ration. Well, You would walk out of the PX with 8 cartons of smokes, take a wet Q-tip with saliva and just rub the ink that they just put on there right off, go to the PX in the next town over and do the same thing. We would roll into German hotels with like 40 and 50 cartons of smokes. We made more money selling American cigarettes through that racket than we did as enlisted service members through our regular paycheck.
What was the regular cost of a pack of cigarettes then?
For Americans, it was like $1 or $1.25.
All right. Yeah, I just paid $15 yesterday. I was like, oh my God,
Germans,
it's $15.
I think at the time we're paying like $3.50 or $4 for their inferior tobacco. So we were loading up. I mean, there's really no accounting for how much money we made.
It's just not warm enough in any area of Germany to grow good tobacco. I mean, that's basically why tobacco is grown in hotter environments.
I don't know if they do it anywhere in Europe, man. When I was on that cruise,
who else really
it was,
does tobacco besides the state?
Turkish.
Yeah, the
that's true.
But when I was on that cruise, man, and you get to know the smokers because you have a designated area, but probably 4 different groups of people from different countries. They saw I had Marlboro Reds. And they're like, oh, man, please. And they had their own cigarettes. They just wanted to try one because apparently Marlboro, that's, like you said, it's the Jack Daniels or the Nike. Most people, the one couple that knocked them on their ass, most people, they would take a drag, and it's like someone having good whiskey. Like, they just held it in their lungs, and they're like, oh, yeah. But there was this one couple, and I handed it to the dude. He takes his first puff and just so he traded me one of his cigarettes, which would be the equivalent of like a Capri.
Ultralight. Well, Capri's got a pretty good kick to it.
Okay, then not like a Capri, man.
Probably like an ultralight or something.
And I'm like, why do you even smoke, man? I mean, I couldn't even taste this thing.
Well, I just asked a question about the liquor, but looking back on it, when we were in Germany, there's not really a liquor culture there. We were probably the only people in that restaurant bar who were getting, a shot of Jaeger or whatever, schnapps or whatever the hell they had. It just didn't seem like that was, it's beer.
It's Jaeger. Everywhere we went that was German was Jaeger and schnapps.
Yeah, that was basically it.
Yeah.
Like if you asked for anything else, it kind of looked at you funny. But
well, that restaurant was very fancy, and you looked at that guy as I was sitting across from you, and you're like, gotta get a shot of whiskey. And he was very proud, and he was like, yes. We got the good stuff. Mm-hmm. I think it was just Jim Beam.
Yeah,
right. But like right.
That was more than the other places had.
That's what I'm saying.
We went to that sports bar, and I looked at the back of the counter, and I was like, whoa, there's just nothing in here. Our question, legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
It's Gun Storage Check Week and National Suicide Prevention Month. Securely storing your firearms can help prevent suicide. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to deter unwanted access. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org and enter to win a gun safe. That's gunstoragecheck.org. If you or someone you know is struggling, call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
Coastal Farm and Ranch. We're just what the country needs.
These deals are working hard to save you money. From August 28th through September 3rd, save 15% off Balin stock tanks, $200 off Black Diamond log splitters, and find big discounts on shoes for the family.
Coastal Farm and Ranch. We're just what the country needs.
Make the most of your Labor Day weekend with Coastal.
99.9 KISW. KISW. The men's room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Coming up, the return of Who Sucks Last right after emails on our question, legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
A couple of texts here says, I was a teacher during the week, bikini barista on the weekends. You ever bump into any of the parents of the students who you were teaching? Just curious. Yeah, there's a couple teachers in my kid's school. If I find out they're bikini baristas,
Sure.
I'd drink more coffee.
I think that'd be weirder for the customer than it is for her.
You think?
Yeah.
Like, I'd be surprised, but I wouldn't find it weird. I'd be like, I'm glad you do this, personally.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but a couple teachers.
Right, I know, but there's a lot of people also who love that stuff, but you can't ever talk about it, or
of course,
or they'll go online or in person and tell you how bad bikini baristas are. So I think when those kind of people get caught there by the teacher, that's why it's worse for them.
You know why they got caught there? Because they went there.
Yeah.
Someone else says, I ran away at the age of 14, met a Filipino family in Sacramento, and sold meth for a year and a half. Sold an ounce a week, then I was done. When we got shot at, trying to collect money for a fronted 8-ball. Good times.
Jesus. Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Justin. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
So, other than floppy disks and cigarettes, I mod consoles.
All right. Gaming systems?
Yeah, so when the original Xbox came out, there was a hack. You pop a mod chip in, then you go down, you pop in a bigger hard drive than what it had originally. You go down to Blockbuster, rent the game, pop it in, it burns the game to the hard drive. You return the game back to Blockbuster, get another one, keep doing it. You have the entire catalog for free.
I'll be down.
I had one. It was awesome.
Oh,
what, like the chip thing? You're saying?
Well, one of the modified Xboxes.
Ah, okay.
But it was great because it had everything you could imagine. It was
already loaded, or were you borrowing games?
No, it was already loaded. You guys used it. We had it at the place right there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hey, Justin, all right, so you did, cigarette things in high school, the floppy disk porn in middle school, then the game. Have you done
We
anything?
call them floppy Johnsons, but yes.
Have you done anything legal in your life?
Anything legal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For money?
Well, modding consoles is technically legal. There's nothing piracy about modding a console. It's the content along with it. So, I also do emulation devices, which is basically a small single-board computer that's emulating, say, a Master System, a N64, and you could just plug in like an Xbox controller and start playing Mario.
Okay. All right.
But I don't sell the ROMs, which are the illegal portion of that side of the business.
So basically you're making a bomb before weed was legalized.
Basically, for a tech person, a modded console or a emulation device is a water pipe.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
It's just a thing.
What you do with it? Hey, look, your car could probably go 125 miles an hour, but if you do that,
that's on you. Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, I've been in the shooting range, told somebody I like their rifle, and he's like, it is not a rifle. But it's like a 9mm, but you add everything to it. It looks like a rifle. I mean, I'm sure it's not fully automatic. He's just like, it's not a rifle. I'm like, am I missing something? He's like, it's a 9mm. I was like, oh, okay.
That looks like a rifle.
Yeah, right? Because by the time you add stuff on the back or the front or whatever.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but yes, that probably would have been my comment too.
But it's the same thing as that. It's just like those little kind of, I don't know if they're loopholes or whatever. So he's like, look, I'm modding them. I'm not adding in the games or whatever.
Right.
But I did nothing illegal.
It's allowing you the opportunity to put in the games.
Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
That's what I always wonder about illegal drugs.
What?
You're out somewhere in public. You're not driving. You're not operating any kind of vehicle.
All right.
The cop's like, are you on drugs? And you go, yeah. Right? Like, say, I'm on acid. He search you. There's nothing else on you. Like, is it illegal to be on it?
I don't think so.
My understanding
I guess you kind of possess it.
My understanding, I don't know if this is right, because just like any of my friends, when I quote anything legal, this is based on nothing other than what I've been told. But what I had heard was it's not illegal to be high if you're not operating vehicles, et cetera, et cetera. It's just illegal to get high. So basically, if you're not carrying the drugs or they don't bust you in the act, then it's legal, or
is that like a Rod Strickland rule?
I mean, 'cause that's right. Like, if you're tripping on acid, but you have no acid on you, and you're sitting in a park watching the sunset, like, you had to do something illegal to arrive where you're at, but...
Right. I don't know if it was you that told me that, but I feel like I've heard the exact same thing.
It could have been me. That's what I've heard. But again, do not trust my advice when it comes to legal stuff. Just don't. I don't know if that's true.
No, man, you can't arrest me because I'm high.
Thrilled said, okay. Well,
I know the law. I know me.
Wow. Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Tony. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Hey, so I grew up in Michigan, and like you guys were talking about, we got 10 cents for every bottle and can to send back for deposit. And I remember one time my aunt was babysitting us, and I think we were 12, 13, something like that. And we asked her if we could go up to the store and get some, like, you know, soda and candy and all that, and she said no. So we decided, well, what if we take your cans and bottles back, and we'll just get $1 out of it, and you can have the rest. We'll be doing the work for you. And she still said no. And so we decided we were going to get on Cub Scout uniform. And we went up and down the road, knocking on the doors, asking for donations for the Cub Scouts until we got about $20 and change, and then we went and got our sodas and candy anyway.
You put on your Cub Scout uniform, huh?
Yeah. I mean, we were asking for donation for Cub Scouts, so, I mean, technically, is it a lie? I mean,
you were Cub Scout. So. I would have given you your wolf badge immediately. Here you go, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that I've ever tailgated a Seahawks game where I haven't bought candy from some kids that are fundraising.
Oh, do they go out to the tailgates?
I feel like over the years, it's been a lot of the same kids at every tailgate. I'm like, what sport you guys going to play?
Right. You raise money for what team now?
Yeah, right.
Does it seem like a legit operation, or are they just kind of... Like, what is the candy they're selling? Because when we sold candy in school, I think you sold the exact same chocolate bars we got, right?
World's Finest.
Exactly, right? So if I see World's Finest, I say, okay, they're probably on the level, only because I don't know where else you get World's Finest chocolate.
Oh, no, this is just like...
M&M's?
Yeah, and like, I don't know, you go to the store and buy a Halloween pack of candy.
And that's what they're selling.
I mean, like, at the end of the day, it's a tailgate. You're boozing. It's candy.
Sure.
So, like, people are going to buy it. Everybody's, tailgate's another spot where you kind of...
loose?
Yeah, you eat stuff maybe you generally don't. Everybody's like, all right. But, I mean, when we used to tailgate down by the Hawks Nest, I swear to God, it was the same kid, same mom all the time. Finally, we were like, what? Do we ever ask them what sport? Yeah. And why do they never play it? They're here, like, Thursday night games. They're there. Right? So it's like, what? I'm not sure.
Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
If not, though, good on them.
Yeah.
We bought candy every time.
Hello, Brock. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola.
Looking forward to that 3-day weekend with the weather we're going to have.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, man. Weather makes a difference.
For sure. So this is back when I'm in 26 or 27. I'm collecting unemployment. I'm selling pounds. I'm making money off that. That's not what I'm calling. I'm making like $2,000 a week, so I don't really need the money. But my roommate, he is an Alaskan crabber. If you grew up in Ballard, you know a fisherman, because everybody was a fisherman back in the day. So he'd be gone half the year fishing, and I would be, at home with collecting his money, so it was great. But when he'd be home in the summer, he had a little fishing boat, and it's like a 25-foot little boat. It had a live tank in it, a hydraulic pot puller, and we would go, the season is from June through September. Out in Lake Washington, we would go fishing for crayfish, and we would catch crayfish and sell them to Ujimaya and Pike Place and other places.
Oh, nice. I heard that one of the biggest suppliers of crayfish on the West Coast, if not maybe in the United States, is Lake Washington. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I did not know. I mean, I did not know we were...
Is there a difference between cray and crawfish?
No. They farm...
It's just what way you
call it. But you can't... But the ones from Louisiana, you can't have in Washington State. It's an illegal species.
Oh, because there's some difference, I guess.
There's got to be some difference, right? Because my buddy, he was a cook and a chef, and he he had them shipped to Oregon and then had to have somebody drive them up here.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted crawfish. It was mud bugs and cold stuff.
I think they farm them too. Speaking of the
okay, so you can't put them in the water, but you can ship them up here.
No. He had to ship them to Oregon.
Wow,
and then somebody drove them up here.
Damn.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like crayfish, crawfish. It's got to be like a prawn to a shrimp. It's got to be something.
I have seen those guys used to drink at the Alaskan fishermen used to drink at the Buckaroo Tavern.
Yep.
Now the Buckaroo Tavern was it's on Fremont Avenue, and then it was only beer and wine. So they didn't have a liquor license, which was probably a very good thing. But when those fishermen came in, it was like watching a mob movie or like Casino, or you have never seen people who have so much cash on hand.
Oh, right, yeah.
Big rolls. I mean, huge. Just, I have never seen that much cash being carried on a person before. And it's 20 people.
Right, all of them.
When they got back, man, it was just, they were all very, very energized.
Yes.
But man, oh man, golly. I mean, I saw this one guy pay a bill and I looked over and I was like, that is the biggest wad of money I've ever seen in my life. I'm serious. I don't think I'd ever seen more money at one time.
Probably every guy there is like, how about this one?
Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Ron. Welcome to the men's room.
How you doing?
Hola.
Anyway, 1980, I was 15 years old, and I got a job at a liquor store. California, you could be a stock boy. I worked until I was about 17, and I could load up duffel bags, or basically the gym bags, full of alcohol, take to high school, and sell them.
Oh, yeah.
Sell whatever I got. JD was the big thing. Half pints. I do that probably twice a week.
And about how much money were you pulling in?
I remember coming home pretty much every day with about $100, on those 2 days. So $200 a week easy. And that doesn't count tapping the till when I was at the store alone, because I had the store alone for about an hour and a half a day from 2:30 to 5.
So you did pretty good with that. You did pretty good with that gig.
I did real good with that gig. I think I had more money when I was in high school than I've ever had.
Well, what's $100 from the 80s compared to now? You know, that's the thing you need to think about. Is it the equivalent of $300?
From the
$200? I mean, when you
I would guess probably around $300.
I mean, there's only a few things that have consistently been about the same price. But
and it's illegal narcotics.
Everything else has gone up. Legal or not, what was your side hustle to make some extra cash? 206-803-ROCK.
It's different now because of cameras and everything, but like when I worked at a liquor store, I just assume if somebody's not 21, they're working in your liquor store, they're taking some stuff.
Oh, of course. Mm-hmm. Right. It's easy access, right? Hello, Ben. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. Hey.
Hola. Try it again, man. Your phone's breaking up.
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to my Gramps and then tell you guys that my side hustle I've been doing for 7 years is breeding and selling reptiles.
So breeding, is this basically all kinds of reptiles?
Yeah, I've worked with a lot of them, but right now I have about 6 or 7 different species that I breed, and then after I breed them, I sell them at shows across Washington and Oregon.
All right, so what is the most popular reptile that you are selling right now, and what is the most difficult to breed?
The easiest one and the most popular that I have is leopard geckos. I got a bunch of different morphs of them, which is like the colors of them. And then the most difficult one that I have right now is probably like boas, Colombian rainbow boas, a really pretty boa with iridescence to it. So those ones are pretty hard to breed as well.
How do you know when they're pregnant? How do you know when the process has begun? Do you have any idea, or are you just like surprised one day?
They got breeding season, so like some of them you can make naturally happen. Like for some snakes, you put them in a brumation, which is kind of like a hibernation, and you do that during the winter, so you don't have to feed them at all, and then you just wake them up during the spring, and then most of them you just like lower the temperatures. And then you just put them together when you bring the temperatures back up.
Have you ever thought of like playing Barry White or Marvin Gaye in the background? Really set the mood.
What about how many boas? I mean, is it one snake per snake? I mean, is it a litter? What the hell is it?
Boas actually give live birth. So you can get anywhere from like 10 to 15 babies out of a boa, maybe even more. And then pythons and most lizard species have eggs, and you have to incubate them.
Okay, so how much can you get per boa or python, would you say, on average?
It just depends on the color and morph. So, like, if I have the Colombian rainbow boas, I can get anywhere from $2,000 to $1,000. I did a show recently, and I made about $3,500 in 2 days.
Do you ever run into, this is strange, but have you ever run into any Amish people? I know they're really not prevalent in the area, but do they ever show up?
No, I've never seen them. Mostly goth people show up, and then there's some normal people like us. And
All right,
then,
normal people.
That's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the East Coast, Ohio, Pennsylvania, there's a lot of Amish, and they are definitely into that hustle.
But they move them like
Yeah.
he does.
Yeah.
So even if there was Amish out here, like they wouldn't show up at his house to buy them because
No, I just said, like, if you go to one of those reptile shows
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever, like, where you're selling them, I just didn't know if, like, any of the other vendors, because...
I don't think I want to know. If my neighbor is illegally breeding snakes.
You said you don't want to know that?
No.
Okay,
I'd have to
don't
move
tell
out.
him. Even if none of them had escaped.
I think he's doing
but
it
you just
illegally.
heard. No, I know he's doing it legally, but if you just heard that that's what he does, you'd have to move out.
I mean, I barely trust the toilet now. I would never trust it.
Who Sucks Less coming up, and we've got your emails on the way from the men's room at KISW.com next.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
It's Gun Storage Check Week and National Suicide Prevention Month. Securely storing your firearms can help prevent suicide. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to deter unwanted access. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org and enter to win a gun safe. That's gunstoragecheck.org. If you or someone you know is struggling, call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
This is NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association. It's Gun Storage Check Week and National Suicide Prevention Month. Securely storing firearms can help prevent suicide. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to deter unwanted access. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org and enter to win a gun safe. That's gunstoragecheck.org. If you or someone you know is struggling, call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, we're just what the country needs.
These deals are working hard to save you money. From August 28th through September 3rd, save 15% off Balin stock tanks, $200 off Black Diamond log splitters, and find big discounts on shoes for the family.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, we're just what the country needs.
Make the most of your Labor Day weekend with Coastal.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Who Sucks Class is on the way, but first time for a few emails from the Men's Room at KISW.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
Two from our question on the side hustle, guys. Made a few extra bucks from friends and family for creating items made from reclaimed fence boards or pallets. Also worked for a buddy installing RGB LED lights, designs he made from his plasma cutter. Had a few handy van home repairs to folks who didn't know how to do things, and jack of all trades, master of none. Love you guys. That from the Oak Plain Drifter. All guys, for 4 years, I drove up, much like Wade, I drove for, well, a little different, an escort service. Started as a side hustle, then it became my regular gig. Definitely the best job I've had. And I left with a bunch of stories to tell. That from Big Pun in Kennewick. The guy that I saw picking up escorts had that big-ass $160,000 Mercedes Safari looking, I think they come in like 2 or 3 different sizes. He had the big one.
Yeah.
Where was this?
Oh, around town.
Very close to here. There were clearly some...
Yeah.
You talking about a G-Wagon?
Yes.
Or the Sprinter van?
The G-Wagon, not the Sprinter van.
But, these chicks, and basically we walked outside to smoke, and as soon as we saw them, like, they are prostitutes.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking super high dollar prostitutes.
But that's the thing. You wouldn't know. Like, you don't know about those services.
Oh,
right? Like I said, I lived at Belltown.
Oh, right next to the...
Yeah, and it shocked me when they busted that brothel, and then, like, even, like, remember the one hockey player during the playoffs from another team got in troubles? He, like, did something bad to the hooker or the escort or whatever. Like, there are some that are on that level. We're like, yeah, they're only going to be, like...
Right, yeah.
They're exactly where you think they were, and we realize, like, you need to make a lot of money to even know how to get...
We used to have a listener that was one.
Oh, really?
I remember meeting her painting the grass. It was just like, Jesus Christ, you're hot. And I was like, what do you do?
Guys, back in elementary school, I was well known throughout the school with other kids for having ink pens of all colors and brands. And because ink pens of any kind were strictly prohibited at the school, I eventually became the primary source and supplier of pens, red, blue, green, shaped like dolphins and Disney princesses. How did I acquire these, you might ask? I stole them from local stores, of course. Never got caught, be it in the stores or in the school. I charged $5 per pen and made over $5,000 through 3 years.
Damn.
Even sold into the 7th grade, to the 7th grade teacher once. Cheers, guys. That from Alex the Furry. Back in the early 90s, I worked for a truck tire warehouse. Went to my boss one morning after being a loyal employee for over 5 years, asked for a raise. He simply told me I could work more hours if I wanted. I was already working 6-7 days a week, no less than 12 each day. When they made me in charge of the inventory is when I started cooking the books. I was selling 10 tires a month for about $2,000 cash. Did that for about 5 more years before I quit and moved on. Not a bad living for someone only making $35 taxable K a year. Name withheld. As we move on to the birthdays. Ola Bacholas, today is our 9th wedding anniversary. My husband drives a dump truck and listens to you guys every day.
Cool.
Lord. Hey, we don't do anniversary.
I mean, congratulations on 9.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
Good on you.
Yeah. Now we're on to the birthdays. Gentlemen, I'd like to wish my son Leo a happy first birthday. Can I get a little kid face sandwich, a Leroy Jenkins, and some Coach Ted motivation on taking those first steps? Thanks, guys. That from Tim, Kelly, and from Olive.
Fish challenge.
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins.
All right, Leo. First of all, you got to live up to your name, son. Lions are named Leo and Leonardo DiCaprio. I'll explain that to you on your 18th birthday. Second of all, you can't understand a bunch what I'm saying right now, but somebody in that home has bought you this little device. You want to put your hands on it. You can start walking around on that like Grandma does with her walker. All right, we're going to keep using it, Before you know it, you'll be taking steps, one by the other one, maybe two at a time. And also, Leo, you can't say how bad it hurts, so go ahead and cry when you fall.
Oh, you're not that tall. You're not falling as far. I do remember those walkers, man. My one kid, she only could go backwards. She just pushed with her heels. I thought, man, this kid's never going to learn to walk. She never goes forward. She just backs into everything.
Yeah, it's just wild. My friend's, what's Baby Lou? I don't know. She's only a little over, like, sometime between 1 and 2.
All right.
Like, I just hadn't seen her in, like, maybe 2 months. And then I show up, and here she comes zipping around the corner holding on one of those things. And I was like, when did this happen?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yep. Guys, today my main man Max turned 17. Awesome prime number. My youngest and last spawn has requested that the medium-level Dirty Germans give him advice on learning to drive in Western Washington. We all listen all we can and forever love the show. Much regards. The Army tanker with broken fingers, Captain Mulhauser. Captain, we still don't do Dirty Germans until you're 18. So, Coach Ted, could you give his son Max some advice on maybe driving in Western Washington?
I mean, listen, wherever you drive, you got to stay alert. What was it, Max? Yeah, you got to stay alert, Max, but especially in Western Washington. If you're in the city, people might need to turn. They will just stop. They don't care. If you're on the highway, watch out for people camping in the left lane. You'll see signs that say don't do it. They will. And then also, if you're coming into the city, watch out for those jackasses that wait to the last second to get out of the exit lane for Mercer. It's a personal one for Coach.
Guys,
I know you're going to try to do it. I ain't letting you over.
Yeah.
Right? Because, Coach likes that right lane, too, but he's smart enough to get over before the last minute.
Mm-hmm. Guys, I've been listening to Men's Room every day for 6 or 7 years now. I was living in San Jose at the time. The show came on randomly after the San Jose Sharks broadcast on 98.5 ended. I found myself laughing so uncontrollably after hearing the Dirty Germans for the first time, I had to pull over, and I've been hooked ever since. Thank you guys for all the laughs. Today marks my 34th rotation. For my birthday, I would love Your Penis Is Too Small, Cut That Bitch Off, and the captain talking about what it would be like if the Ted Smith were to find himself marooned on the SS Guppy during a food mascot party. You guys are the best. Sincerely, that from Michael in Jamestown, New York.
Cut that bitch off. Next call.
Ooh, well, ahoy there. You know, it's funny you ask about Ted on the old SS Guppy. We extended the invitation once, and he can't come back. You see, he showed up with all of his sports mascot friends, and let's just say Donald Duck likes his gin. So when he spotted the Oregon Duck, they exchanged words. Very heated words. One thing led to another, and while Ted will not admit this, I'm pretty sure he's the one to hit Tony the Tiger in the back of the head with a pool cue. We'll never know. Crunch Bears.
But Charles, want to send a happy...
Surprised the fanatic didn't get dirty.
Want to send a happy 43rd birthday to my amazing husband, Matt. I love you, babe. From Allie, give him a fish sandwich. And look out. And the Dirty German's talking about being an audio engineer. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Fish sandwich. Are you sure?
Uh-oh, look out. Yeah, well, you're an audio engineer. I don't concentrate on the RD. I only concentrate on the O.
See, I always wondered with the audio engineer, you do that all day long. When you get home, do you watch your porn on mute?
Yeah.
Because I like it loud.
An audio engineer, yes. Keep your white Reeboks on.
I'm assuming, right?
Almost every audio engineer that I've known in radio.
I feel like you have
white
to be
Reeboks.
the chief engineer.
Oh, okay. All right.
You got to be the chief to wear the white Reeboks.
Yeah, I feel like audio engineer, he could be working in like a cool studio or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he might go to a dead show.
Like record an actual band or something.
He might also be wearing white Reeboks.
He could be.
Hump
I know
day, gentlemen.
Dwight still is.
I'd like to wish my badass husband, John, a happy 45th birthday. We love him very much and appreciate all he does for our family. How about a fart or two? Well, what was that, bro? And the Dirty Germans talking about playing with metal. Thanks, guys. From his wife, Melissa.
Oh my God! What the is that, bro?
Yeah, I don't want to give away too many secrets, but the last time that I played with metal, let's just say the Tin Man was very happy.
Yeah, so the weird thing was he kept asking me for a squirt of water. Lube him up, he would say, Mike. It's very awkward for me too, man.
All right, guys.
Sorry.
Here you go.
Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Now, the men's room wants to know who sucks last?
Hey, time for Who Sucks Last. Tina Thrillhill, you bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. They all suck, but it's up to us to determine out of the 3 stories which one sucks the least. Now, if you follow KISW on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, the debate is already underway on Who Sucks Last.
Yes, indeed, and we'll be in Texas. We'll go across the ocean to Taiwan and then come back to Minnesota, but let us start in Texas, San Antonio, where they say you can't take it with you. But a local apartment complex says that you better pay up before you die. You see, it sent a bill to the family of one of its former tenants, charging her for breaking her lease when she died. Now, the women's children, they received a bill from the apartment complex for $15,676 and a collection notice, despite a Texas law that says the family members can cancel a lease if a loved one passes away. That's very big of Texas to do that. But 91-year-old Sandra Bonilla, she died in late June, and she was buried next to her husband. For more than 10 years, she lived at the Lodge at Chavano Park Apartments. At the time of her death, she had almost a year left on her 2-year lease. Now, David Naderman, that's the woman's son, he said, quote, "We went to the apartment complex, spoke to the leasing manager, and he told us that he would use the security deposit towards the cleaning and turning over the apartment and that they would terminate the lease. But later, the family received a bill for $14,368 in accelerated rent and then $1,117 for the lease break fee. It even states the reason for her move out is because she died." Now, Bonilla's son said they sent the termination notice, but they still received a collection letter threatening to report the debt to a credit bureau or file legal action. For now, the family's just waiting to see if the apartment complex follows through. So again, your mom at the age of 91 dies, but to get out of her 2-year lease, where she still had a year left, they charged the family over $15,000. Because she died, you see, and broke the lease. Now we go to Taiwan. A Taiwan court sentenced a man to 3 months in prison for invading his adulterous wife's privacy by installing hidden cameras around his own home. You see, the man, surnamed Fan, he managed to land himself behind bars for daring to expose his wife's cheating by installing cameras around their home. The couple have been married for several years. They had 2 young children back in 2022, and that's when Mr. Fan began suspecting that his spouse was having an affair. So he installed a camera under the piano in the living room and another one next to the computer in the master bedroom. Well, about 2 weeks later, the cameras, they in fact caught Fan's wife and a mystery man having intimate relations in the family home. Footage that the husband later used as grounds for a divorce. Okay. Well, in February of that year, Fan invited his wife and her lawyer to divorce negotiations, but they were unable to reach an agreement, so Fan filed a civil lawsuit against his spouse for civil damages. Little did he know that his wife had an ace up her sleeve. The woman went to a local police station and accused her husband of invading her privacy by installing hidden cameras around their home without her consent. Fan's wife eventually filed a lawsuit against him, and his excuse of having installed the cameras out of worry for his children, who often complained that their mother spent an unusually long time in the bathroom, well, it didn't sit really well with the judge. At the end of last year, the court sentenced Mr. Fan to 3 years in prison for secretly filming other people's private activities without their consent and without a valid reason, in spite of the fact that the reason he gave proved to be true. Anyway, he appealed the decision, but the high court rejected his appeal, upheld the original verdict. He now has to spend, 3 months behind bars.
3 months.
3 months for catching his wife cheating in his own home. And now we go to Minnesota, where, as they say, a good wedding photographer knows how to stay out of the way, but still catch the most intimate moments. This one might be a little too intimate. You see, a 30-year-old wedding photographer in Minnesota is facing charges for filming the bride naked while she was getting ready in her bridal suite. He set up a hidden camera that recorded her in her underwear with her top exposed. Police were able to identify the 27-year-old bride, who watched the footage and confirmed that it was her. Now, the wedding was back in 2020 at a venue about 90 miles south of Minneapolis. Police only found out about it now because the photographer's wife turned his ass in. She gave them a thumb drive that had the video, plus more sexually explicit material on it. They did not elaborate on what the other material is, but it doesn't sound like this was an isolated incident. Anyway, the guy's name is Mitchell Ringness, which is a great last name for a wedding photographer. Too bad he's never going to be hired again. But his website is still up. It promises to provide, quote, timeless yet captivating photos and videos that will do justice to your uniquely perfect love story. Oh. Anyway, he's due in court next week, facing one misdemeanor charge of interfering with privacy. The maximum sentence is a $3,000 fine and 1 year in jail. So those are your stories. We go to San Diego, where a 91-year-old woman, she died, but now the family's being held liable.
Did they have to pay for that? Did they end up paying that $15,000?
They're waiting to see because they said they're going to report them to a credit bureau or file legal action. So now the family's just waiting to see what they're going to do. But either way, that's hanging over their head because their mom died. You have the court in Taiwan. They put a man in jail for 3 months because they installed cameras in his own home to catch his wife cheating because his wife was, in fact, cheating. And then finally, the wedding photographer who was taking hidden videos of the bride topless.
I mean, the court in Taiwan to me sucks the most.
I don't understand the reason.
It's his own home.
Yeah.
I don't know how it can be illegal for me to set up a camera in my home.
In my own home.
And it's my wife, right? Like if it's my rental property and I have cameras in there on the inside and I'm looking at other women.
Understood.
Understandable. But it's like, it's my wife. It's our home. Like in theory, that's just a security measure. It just happens that she's a whore and she got caught.
And even explain that was the reason why I did it.
Right, so I think that sucks the most. I can't decide what sucks the least, though. Like, I'm hoping the apartment people, like, they'll get out of that. They don't have to pay it. Like, I could fathom if it's like a mortgage.
A mortgage is different, right?
Yeah, this is an apartment complex.
It's a rental.
Sometimes when you get out of an apartment lease, one way or another, they're going to find any way they can to stick it to you at the end. Whether it's a cleaning fee, whether they say that you damaged something, or whatever your security deposit is, it always seems like on that back end, you're getting effed.
Yeah,
but this is obviously much more excessive. I would just think in this instance,
you would think
that legally this will be cleared, and that one, if that is the case, in my mind, sucks the least.
See, I might go with the wedding photographer. Just because most of those women didn't know, so they still enjoyed their wedding day.
Yeah.
Right? And then, like, I mean, if they're out on the internet, obviously that's awful. And that sucks with it. Look, I fathom how bad that is because now it's always going to be a little bit tainted, no pun intended. But also the day of the wedding, it's like she got to enjoy her wedding.
Right. You didn't find out until after the fact.
Yeah.
And I don't think this guy was putting them online. I mean, I think his wife discovered his thumb drive and was like, come on.
That's insanity, too, man.
Yeah. It is. I don't know which one I think sucks less. The apartment, that one just pisses me off.
Well, I do know this, man. I worked out about a year and a half before I got married, just so I'd feel like, she's working out, I'm working out. If you took a picture of me naked, I'd be like, dude, send me that.
Right.
Probably look better that day than I have in a long time.
I'm going to use this on my personal website.
Keep that just so I can look at it and go, look how I used to look. Debate continues on Who Sucks Less if you follow KISW on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. Shot of the Day's coming up. You are listening to The Men's Room.
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
It's Gun Storage Check Week and National Suicide Prevention Month. Securely storing your firearms can help prevent suicide. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to deter unwanted access. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org and enter to win a gun safe. That's gunstoragecheck.org. If you or someone you know is struggling, call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Drink better. Drink independent. Drink Somsation. Break free of the generic wines on the shelf or menu with Somsation's selection of 300-plus limited production wines and tastings. Explore Somsation.com today.
Cheers.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Coming up minutes, we'll drink and toast with a shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check out with Mike Hawk and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
Thank you, Miles. There's a museum in France that's now allowing nude visitors.
Why?
Because there's a naturism exhibit.
A what?
A naturism exhibition. People going naked.
Is the exhibit? I guess I'm just like, I don't know. I could go look.
Yeah.
Seems odd. I could get people like the exhibit, they're nude in there.
Right. No, it's nude visitors.
No, they do have one requirement.
You do need to wear shoes.
You have to wear shoes.
Right.
Oh, nice.
Are you nude if you're wearing shoes?
And do you walk up in clothes? I mean, you have to, right? Because that's indecent exposure if you don't. And so you show up in clothes. You like really catch a hankering to run into the bathroom and just strip all and then just walk through the museum?
Is it like a coat check where they take your clothes and hang them up for you?
Right. Oh.
Yeah, because you're right. You can't like just show up.
Do you
naked.
just walk in with a trench coat and then just peel
Maybe that's the move,
boy?
yeah. I think maybe that's the pro move.
Hold this for me. Thank you.
I'm here for your exhibit.
Look at it in all its glory.
My shoes are down there, dude.
They are Jordan. Oh, Lordy. There's a hotel chain.
I don't know. That just seems so French. Get naked and go to the museum.
That is a very French.
You want to get naked and head to the museum.
I like to be naked and cultured. All at the same time.
This one is cheeky, no?
Yeah. You see what I did there?
Oh, damn it. There's a hotel chain in the UK that's been caught canceling reservations in order to charge people more because it was announced that the Oasis tour would now be coming through those dates.
That's all that.
Yeah, I read that as well. So people had already booked these rooms, all right?
Right.
Then Oasis announces a 14-date tour. Whatever city this is in, they realize, ooh, we're going to jack up the prices for the Oasis. So what they told the customers that had already booked a room, there was a, quote, computer glitch. And don't worry, we can rebook your room, but you should just know the rate is now 3 times higher than what you booked it. That is such crap.
It is crap.
But, it's a computer glitch. Like, no, it wasn't.
They facing any kind of legal ramifications for it, or?
I don't know. I mean, if people pursued it, maybe they would.
Right.
Because you could prove or disprove that there was a quote-unquote glitch.
Right.
That seems wild that... Because those shows aren't until next summer.
Right. So I've already booked my trip there because, I don't know, a wedding. Whatever the reason is.
Or you're just going there because you're an international traveler and it's a destination place.
Right.
I would love to go see Oasis.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
You're being for real right now.
I love Oasis.
Oasis, man. All right. I did not know that about you.
Oh, yeah. In.
Okay.
100%.
Right on, dude.
Well, if you got 3 times as much as you normally spend in a hotel room.
Stay here.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have a friend that's from Dublin, so that would cut some of the costs there.
Fair
for
call.
sure. And then I know quite a lovely couple in Cardiff.
Cardiff.
Oh, they're lovely.
It's supposed to be beautiful. Yeah, they live down there. And
Of course it's beautiful. It's Cardiff.
yeah, it's right there on the beach, the cliffs. Hey, you guys don't like Oasis?
Not so much.
But I know you said,
don't
joke, now
dislike
here's
them.
Wonderwall, but like, God damn, that album. Those are great songs. Hey, I'm gonna.
Nobody
No,
said
you're doing
we hate
good,
this. Nobody has even attacked Oasis. You're already. It's good out. All right?
Shut up.
Kiss my ass.
I don't even own a record player. Mike does, and Marshawn does. I was on Amazon today. I was like, I'm going to buy some vinyl. Just bring it
I'm
over.
coming over and listening to Oasis.
My morning jacket? No.
Morning Glory?
Morning Glory.
Yeah, my morning jacket's a band.
All right. And then what was the other one? I don't know. There's one I just remember.
It's an experience.
It felt like we would just play that CD over and over.
Right.
And I watched this whole thing. They're like the tough dudes, where Blur was kind of the posh band from London.
Sure.
When Oasis came out, like they're from Manchester, they were like the blue collar man's band and stuff. Like we're all think that all the English are posh. They're not.
Learning something new about you every day, Ted.
I don't know if that's good or bad the way you said that.
I mean, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Mostly good.
I think it's that shocking that I'm an Oasis guy.
A little shocking.
All right.
Throws me off just a little bit. Just a little bit. A new study found that a compound in citrus fruits could be modified to help fight gum disease.
Good.
There's a lot of stuff coming out with citrus fruits these days.
Yeah.
Like what else? You can play an Oasis record on the limit.
Come on, Ted, back up your citrus knowledge.
Yeah. Come on, citrus boy.
Some people eat mushrooms that have psilocybin in them.
Yeah.
And it'll upset people's stomachs. So that was just a new thing where you add some lime juice or something that's supposed to negate
Okay, it's a good one.
Just saying. I mean, between that and the Oasis tour, it's a big time for lemons.
A drop of apparently lemon juice on the back of your throat will help cure your hiccups.
Oh, okay.
I've not tried it yet. Miles handed it to me, and I'm like, I haven't had hiccups since. So maybe just you suggesting that this will work is help.
But you have to aim it at the exact back of the throat. It can't hit the tongue or nothing like that. It has to splash on the back.
Oh, I know how that is.
Name a better pair than lemon pepper.
Oh, facts, bud. Facts. But am I the only one that read that headline? Citrus fruits, gum disease, wasn't that the whole thing like on ships back in the day that they would really want
Because of scurvy.
Exactly.
Scurvy, yeah.
That's why you call the English limeys.
Exactly.
Well, we don't call them that, but you know.
And I understand that there's a slight difference between the two, but it's still mouth health.
Yeah, mouth health.
It is Scurvy Awareness Month.
You know what it also is, Ted?
What?
Dude, you totally just set me up. You know what else it is? You're damn right. It's National Hair Loss Awareness Month, and it's almost over. And in
Hair Loss Awareness Month.
You're damn right. Are you aware of hair loss, Steve?
Oh, I certainly am.
So am I, Mike. Just on my head.
Miles, are you aware?
No.
Well, let's get aware.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
10 benefits of shaving your head completely bald.
Yeah.
I saw Bald Miles last week. He was dressed like Miles from the shorts to the hoodie he sometimes wears, down to the glasses. The only difference, he was bald. And in that moment, I realized Miles would make a decent bald man. I even thought about taking a picture, but I didn't want to be that person. I also won't take pictures of my dog's butthole. Don't read into that.
Thanks. Yeah, I came outside and VD was like, dude, did you just pass Bald Miles? And I was like, no. And he's like, I'm telling you, he looks just like. I said, all right. So I turned around and walked right back in, and he was already gone.
Oh, no.
I know. I really want to see Bald Miles.
Gone to the wind. Where's Bald Miles today? We don't know.
We're looking for Bald Miles.
Well, the problem is my head shape is all messed up. I just don't think I'm
That is why we want to see you bald.
Exactly. I don't
So
think
that we can point at your head and say, what is that?
And Bald Miles is like Bizarro Miles. He plays disc golf. Right?
So close yet so far.
He doesn't do shots. He's like, he just drinks beer.
He's got stuff from REI.
Gives motivational speeches to troubled youth.
Right? His pets are normal.
He always says the right thing to make people happy.
Oh, never talks about anybody who just happens to be dead.
If he brings them up, they come back from the grave.
I didn't know they were dead. I just asked how they were doing.
That's right. Oh, God. So these are 10 benefits of shaving your head. They start the list. Shaving years off your appearance. Male pattern baldness affects around 40% of all men by the age of 35 and 50% of males by the time that they reach 50.
I'll tell you another bonus.
Sorta. I mean, you're just announcing, I am old.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, you know what? I feel like it's really come around. The bald look is a younger look as
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Daunting at first, but then I feel like there's a lot of young guys out there with a shaved head.
There's definitely a lot of young guys with the shaved head, and it looks good on them. But our giveaway is in that little bit of beard and or sideburns or mustache. Like I said, when COVID was going on, I had a mask on. I'm like third in line at Bartell when it was still open here. I had to buy a bottle of liquor. And everyone else was buying either cigarettes or liquor, but I need to see your ID. And they pulled down their mask. Need to see your ID. So I get up there, ask for a bottle of liquor. She hands it to me. She starts ringing it up. I said, do you need my ID? And she says, oh, no, I can see the gray in your beard. I was like, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Bald too. Last Halloween, was with some friends and their kids trick-or-treating later in the night. I don't know. We didn't have to be to work the next day for some reason. I go to our normal bar.
Yeah.
There's a big brother that works the door there sometimes, but I'm wearing a bear jacket and I have a bear hood on.
Nice.
So you can just see my face. And he's like, oh, man, I need your ID. And I just put the bear head down. He just sees and he's like, oh, yeah, you're fine.
Oh, you're good, man.
Yeah.
Women will love you.
Yeah. Women like to touch a bald head.
Yeah, they do.
But that's not like women. I bet women like to run their fingers through Miles' hair.
Did like to run their fingers here?
They tussle your hair, Miles.
Just me?
Yeah.
Next
Sucks.
event, I want some woman to come through there and tussle Miles' hair.
Because I've definitely had women, can I touch your head? I'm like, which one are we talking about?
Yes.
Either way, the answer is yes.
There's cost savings with shaving, they say. And I agree with that one.
Yeah, shampoo.
Oh, I was going to say, this won't make the list. And maybe my family's a little weird, but like, I'll still go to the barbershop sometimes to trim in my beard, but like, just trim it shorter.
Yeah.
And it's always like, you don't really have to make an appointment. They're like, yeah, come on, I'll sneak you in.
I got time for this. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's just part of my shower routine.
That's what I do, man.
Just trimming it all down, man. It says, place a spotlight on your best features. A ragged or weather-worn hairstyle can quickly detract from your positive features and other elements of your look. Whether you have wavy locks, voluminous curls, or a luscious head of hair, everyone has features that make them unique. When you shave your head completely bald, those features will now be your focal point of your look.
Yeah, but what if you're ugly?
I know.
Because, I mean, there's some dudes that have shaved their head, and I'm like, the problem with this, it's not nothing wrong with your head, but now I just can't help but look at your face.
And
that is unfortunate.
There are some ugly bald dudes.
There are some really, really ugly. Look, bald does not make you look better or worse. If you're ugly, you still stay ugly. If you're good looking, you stay good looking.
They say you'll look...
Yeah, I mean, the back of my head's terrible.
They say you'll look more athletic and muscular.
I believe that.
Yeah.
People think you could ride a motorcycle.
Damn right.
Or brew beer, you know?
Yeah, you guys are beer brewers.
Yeah.
I don't know what I am.
And I'm a gym bro.
A gym bro, yeah.
Sometimes people think I'm racist.
Yeah, you can pull that off. Do you find yourself in conversations you did not mean to be in?
Correct.
Oh, yeah, that's one way to find out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're not accusing me of racism. You assume I am also a racist. Yes, this is a different conversation.
You think I agree with you.
Or on the other hand, I've been in other situations where they're like, how do you know that? But
I just spent a week.
I like rap music. I know black people.
I just spent a week in Oregon. If we're all in a bar together, I would not be able to find you guys.
I bet you can find
You
my
think I'm
ass.
kidding? I don't know. Oh, that's not him.
Benefits.
Actually, I did coach your nephew in football.
Benefits of shaving your head completely bald. They say it'll take weight off your shoulders. No pun intended.
Oh, wow.
Take weight off your shoulders.
Yeah, basically. This is when struggling with hair loss, it's not uncommon to suffer from anxiety and depression at the mere thought of going bald. With every failed remedy or treatment, your self-esteem plummets further. When a man's hair starts thinning or he realizes he's going bald, he usually feels depressed and tends to be very self-conscious about himself. He'll soon realize that wearing hats and other disguises is not solving his problem, nor does it help boost his confidence.
How is anyone shocked that they're going bald?
I don't think
I know there's extenuating circumstances, right? But generally speaking, you can look at your family and go like, uh-oh.
But you never quite think it's going to be you, because nobody in my
It's gonna be you.
Nobody in my family went bald. I was the first. I think I was the first one to really commit to it, because I looked at my hair. I was like, this stuff is going away.
Wait, was it thinning or what?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
my bald spot was getting bigger, and it was just thin, and it was just looking gross. And I was like, nope.
I also
This needs
think,
to go.
I mean, eventually, are we just not going to have bald people? Because those hair transplants are so good now, and then there's other stuff people start using when it starts thinning.
Right.
And then, like, I don't know, like, there's a lot of people, it's like, yeah, go get it. And they just have hair.
I'll be honest, man. I like being bald.
Same.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know that I'd do it now.
What's that?
Be bald.
Or have hair.
Yeah, I would. Like, now, man, I'm digging this, and it's easy.
Yeah, I'm with you. You may enjoy better career progression. Hell yeah.
What, by not looking old?
I mean,
just
3 out of the
being-
4
just
guys on
being-
this show got to where we are because we're bald.
Just being confident. You know, if you rock
Yeah,
it, you
that's
look
true.
good. You know.
Yeah. They say summers are breezy.
And winters are cold.
Suck.
Winters are cold.
Right. You can use the stocking caps, and I'll tell you what.
What's that like having a cold breeze of air hitting the top of your head?
It is. It can.
Riveting,
a cold
actually.
breeze is not bad, but like cold raindrops, man.
Oh,
like
God.
it's worse than snow. I can't even explain it. So people are, why do you always wear a hat? I'm like, my hat essentially is my hair.
Right.
You don't realize how much colder.
Yeah.
Everything. I remember the first day I shaved my head. Now I love the feeling, but I did not realize how cold your pillow was.
Oh, yeah.
And I had never felt it.
I do like a cold
on my
pillow,
head, man.
yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God. Now it's great.
One thing that I did not see coming is that how quickly your head turns to Velcro. And so things like stocking caps, that's kind of your classic bald look, especially in the wintertime. Your head, it still has those little teeny tiny microfibrous hairs, and that is absolute Velcro. And those stocking caps do not slide on.
Kind of like when you blow your nose with toilet paper and you look up and it looks like you got a white mustache.
Exactly, dude. So
you call them beanies already.
My bad. Stocking caps.
Stocking cap is what you wear when you're about to rob a convenience store.
Or if I gotta get a goose from Ebenezer Scrooge. I've got on my nightgown and my stocking cap.
Heavens.
Somebody here, Mike, on the text line says, I feel personally attacked.
Uh-oh.
I was just having a small crisis about noticing how large my bald spot had gotten on the back of my head.
Shave it. Just shave it, dude.
Just do it.
No, one of your friends, as soon as you do it, they'll all go, good job.
Good work. Women will love you.
Shave it. And look, we all hold on too long.
We do.
Oh, everybody does, man.
We do. Moving on. But then the number one benefit of shaving your head completely bald, this one I got to read a little bit more on, but they say you'll be at a lower risk of illness.
What?
Yeah, a recent UK study found that if you start going bald at a young age, you'll have a 45% less chance of getting prostate cancer than someone with a full head of hair. This is due to high testosterone levels in the body, as long-term exposure to large quantities of DHT is thought to dramatically reduce the growth of tumors. These findings were entirely opposed to those historical studies, which suggested that high testosterone levels actually increase the growth of tumors. So if you're like me and begin to notice your hair falling out in clumps before the age of 30, you may well be at a lower risk of illness, such as prostate cancer, in later life.
Clean head, clean ass, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Living.
A man in Tennessee was hiding from officers trying to arrest him on murder charges, and you'll never believe how they found him, Miles.
How did they find him?
Tell you all about it at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming up at 5:50. In the meantime, let's get a contestant on the line for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK. How we made it to drinking time.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's Gun Storage Check Week and National Suicide Prevention Month. Securely storing your firearms can help prevent suicide. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to deter unwanted access. Learn more at gunstoragechek.org and enter to win a gun safe. That's gunstoragechek.org. If you or someone you know is struggling, call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
A lot can happen between falling in love with a house and owning it. Having an advocate who can help you navigate negotiations, timelines, inspections, and more can make all the difference. That's what the expertise of a Realtor can do for you, because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
It's Gun Storage Check Week and National Suicide Prevention Month. Securely storing your firearms can help prevent suicide. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to deter unwanted access. Learn more at gunstoragechek.org and enter to win a gun safe. That's gunstoragechek.org. If you or someone you know is struggling, call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Better health isn't always about the big things. Sometimes it's a nudge from a friend, or a head nod from a fellow jogger, or even a smile from across the breakfast table when you've decided to pass on the bacon. It's the little things that lead to better health. And Regence is here as a partner, opening doors to the care you need, no matter the size. Because it all adds up to something big. A healthier you. Regence Blue Shield. Together we health.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk. And Steve at Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today we toast an unidentified couple from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Now, we don't know if they're married, dating, just met that night, but at about 4:45 in the morning, they parked their Range Rover next to is it the Schuylkill River?
Yes. I don't know.
It is a Schuylkill. Schuylkill, whatever. My wife can say it because she's from the area.
4:45 in the morning.
4:45 in the morning. Well, guess what they did? They got naked and started having sex in the back seat. Now, during the throes of passion, the woman, well, she accidentally disengaged the gear. Well, the Range Rover rolled into the river with the couple still inside. Now, luckily, both the man and the woman, they were able to escape safely with no injuries. As for the vehicle itself, it was pulled from the water about 4 hours later.
Why, if you're married, are you out at 4:45 in the morning in your car looking for a place to park to have sex?
Because you're not married to each other.
Oh!
That's my guess.
Okay.
That is my guess. It's a Range Rover. It's for, look, either she's a prostitute or you guys are cheating on your spouses. I can't think of another reason. Like if my wife and I, I live in Seattle and we're horny, we're not going to pull to the side of the road. Like, let's just get home. Mm-hmm. At 4:45 in the morning.
If they've been out or something and they're just driving home and stop at a river, I'm like, for old time's sakes, let's bang it out in the range.
Let's bang it out in the range.
Right. You know, nobody would say that. It's not going to work on your
You
wife.
should write Hallmark cards. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Steve at Thrill Hill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
Oh, I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story. Something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, George. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola. All right, Jorge, you understand how this here game is played?
I sure do.
All right, you have your choice of one of three stories. Today, we have Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? Hit Me with Your Best Shot, where you guess the unconventional weapon that someone chose to use as a weapon. And finally, Animalize This, where you guess the animal responsible for causing the problem.
I'm going to say Animalize.
All right, there's a place called Meadows Family Fun Mini Golf in Duncansville, Pennsylvania. Now, recently, they had an unexpected critter show up and promptly get itself trapped in the claw machine. No one knows how the animal got in there, but employees quickly called the local game warden, as well as the company that operates the claw machine. Naturally, the company that operates the claw machine informed them that the game warden is the one who could actually assist them, as they don't deal with animals that are not stuffed. Anyway, the game warden was able to get the critter out of the machine without injuring it. After that, they released it back into the wild. The question is, what was the animal that got itself stuck in the claw machine? Was it a groundhog? Was it a raccoon? Was it a squirrel or was it a fox? So groundhog, raccoon, squirrel, or fox. Which of these animals got itself stuck in the claw machine? And the picture was fantastic. There's other stuffed animals around it, and there it is.
I want to say raccoon because they're always getting that and stuff.
Okay. I'm gonna go fox because they seem to be kind of skinnier. Maybe they could sneak in there.
You ever shame a fox?
I've never seen a fat fox. Other than red.
Yeah, the fattest fox ever.
Yeah, I'm with you, Miles. They're sneaky. They're tricksters. It's a fox.
I'm gonna go fox.
I'm not going fox. I'm just thinking about it.
There's fat fox. That is a fat fox. Okay, they exist.
I mean, just naturally because they get in everywhere. I'm just going to assume it's a squirrel.
Squirrel. Okay. What was stuck inside the claw machine? A groundhog, a raccoon, a squirrel, or a fox? We'll find out next.
That was a tease.
It's one thing falling in love with a house, and quite another navigating the world of negotiating, mortgage lenders, and finding the budget that works best for you. Guidance from an agent who's a Realtor can make all the difference, because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
It's Gun Storage Check Week and National Suicide Prevention Month. Securely storing your firearms can help prevent suicide. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to deter unwanted access. Learn more at gunstoragcheck.org and enter to win a gun safe. That's gunstoragcheck.org. If you or someone you know is struggling, call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Coastal Farm and Ranch. We're just what the country needs.
These deals are working hard to save you money. From August 28th through September 3rd, save 15% off Balin stock tanks, $200 off Black Diamond log splitters, and find big discounts on shoes for the family.
Coastal Farm and Ranch. We're just what the country needs.
Make the most of your Labor Day weekend with Coastal.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories analyzed this on Profile This. We got a Pennsylvania and a mini golf park. They also had a claw machine inside, and somehow a local critter got inside of the claw machine, as if it could be a gift for a young child to take home. Question is, what was the animal that got inside there? A groundhog, a raccoon, a squirrel, or a fox?
And George, that is the very question that we posed to you. Let us start with Miles Montgomery. You went with the old fox. Nope. All right. Not a fox. Me, Ted Smith, you went with the old squirrel. It was not a squirrel. So that leaves you, George. You went with the raccoon. No, believe it or not, in Pennsylvania, it was a freaking groundhog. It was a groundhog. That was the most appropriate animal ever.
Was it Phil, though?
The joke was that it was Phil, but they don't believe that it was Phil. But then someone pointed out, how do we know?
I really would like to try to play that game with the animal.
With the actual animal?
Yes, I would.
I think you'd do better.
Just for entertainment purposes.
Because I think it'd fight back, probably bite down on the thing, and then you could lift it out of there.
Yeah.
I could catch a squirrel.
Catch a squirrel? And the claw machine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now for all TV news all the time, and it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right, there's a new series coming out on Hulu about Baywatch.
Okay.
Now, I watched Baywatch. Did anybody else in here actually watch it?
I want to say when it originally was on, maybe 1 or 2 seasons, for the same reason anybody did.
So Baywatch for me kind of came out It's right around that age, right? Like, I want to say I was like 6th, 7th grade, right? So, like, you already kind of like the show. You just didn't realize as much. Then by like 7th or 8th grade, you're like, I love Baywatch.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I can hear that music now playing. You're watching it. So the main thing Baywatch was known for, besides David Hasselhoff, is just the smoking hot chicks that were on the show.
That is correct.
Right? And the red one-piece bathing suit, which I'm still pro one-piece.
Really? It depends on the person.
Oh, there you go, man.
Yeah, the year was 1989 when Baywatch, a team of lifeguards led by...
Oh, what was Hasselhoff's name?
Lieutenant...
I don't know.
Mitch Buchanan.
Some people live in the darkness? Stand in it, yeah.
This sounds like the same guy that does You're the Best Around. Is this Joe Esposito?
Wouldn't this be Hasselhoff?
I don't know who it is.
Because he likes to sing.
So it sounds like the Survivor guy.
It does, and it's very Survivor-esque song.
What was his name?
Is that Steve
Lieutenant
Becker?
Mitch Buchanan.
Mitch Buchanan. All right. So on the show... his son, Hobie, he was played by an actor named Jeremy Jackson for 8 seasons, all right? So the new one is called After Baywatch, Moment in the Sun. And basically he talks about he was going through puberty while he's surrounded by all these hot co-stars.
Just some of the names: Pamela Anderson,
Yasmin Bleeth,
Nicole Eggert.
Right, something Paul.
I haven't gotten to her yet, but Erica Liniak, Carmen Electra.
Carmen Electra was on there.
Okay, sorry, Ted. The guy's name is Jimmy Johnson, who sings the song. Jimmy Jameson. He is the ex-lead singer from Survivor. He is known.
He's the Bud Light guy.
Burning Heart, different guy. That was Steve Beckler.
Yeah, Steve Beckler.
Burning Heart from Rocky IV. The Moment of Truth from Karate Kid. I Can't Hold Back, High on You. The Search is Over. This guy's just a hit machine.
And people got to remember, Baywatch was such a big show, and I'm going to really date myself here. There was an episode where Mike Piazza, the catcher,
Mets, right?
Yeah, but remember he started out. He started out with the Dodgers, or did he get traded?
Maybe,
he played for the Dodgers for a while, and then literally there's like a scene where one of them walks up, and Mike, God damn it, he's on the beach, like right at that point where the surf comes in shorts. And his Dodgers jersey just taking cuts, swinging the bat. I realized how dumb it was going to be until I explained it. But I remember, as a kid, you're like, Jesus, man, Mike Piazza's on Baywatch. My God. And he played Mike Piazza. So, he's a massive show. So anyhow, poor Jeremy Jackson here, he's going through puberty. And he said, basically, he coped by breaking into castmates' trailers and sniffing their bathing suits.
Oh, God.
He says, quote, let's just say
Thank you. Oh, God.
On Baywatch. He made a similar confession in 2011 when he told Howard Stern he once took care of himself. I got in a big whiff of Pamela Anderson's red one piece.
Oh, it smells like Tommy Lee.
Wow.
All right, look, let's as Miles would say, we have the trust tree.
Yeah.
I don't think that's that crazy for a 16-year-old boy.
No. The smelling part to me is always a little weird.
Thank you.
Let me rephrase that. I might give it an old whiff, but I can't imagine that smelling Pamela Anderson's vagina from her bathing suit would inspire me to want to.
No. I mean, I might look at them on set and think to myself, wow, wouldn't that be something? But
I mean, you're not right. Sorry, you're not wrong.
I like your first one.
You are not right. No, it's not out of the realm of possibility to believe that a 16-year-old would act on impulse like that. But still, it's objectively creepy and weird.
Or subjectively.
Subject.
I don't know.
Depending.
I don't know what it says about me. I don't find it that odd.
No, I know.
Right?
Well, for a guy who likes Oasis, I'm not surprised, Ted.
Well, also, it's the early 90s.
Yeah.
He's a teenage boy. These are extremely hot women.
Yes, they are.
I mean, I remember my mom had a couple friends that were attractive. I couldn't even talk around them. Like, he's on set, and then there's nobody there. I'm guessing his parents aren't always around. Parents of child stars aren't going to be the best.
Right.
And it's like, you walk in, there's the... whatever.
You're painting a picture in your mind. And you've inserted yourself in place of this kid.
We're going to go to commercial break.
It's a good time to take a break.
Take 5.
He also says, like, look, a lot of them were in Playboy. So all the girls' Playboys are around. You get to flip it through these.
Yeah.
And you start thinking, how can I enhance this experience?
I don't think if I was in Playgirl, I'd bring like 10 issues in and drop them in around the desk. Hey, everybody, look.
I would.
am. Free copy. I'll sign it for you.
It depends on the coworker, but yeah.
But also, Playgirl does not have the celebrated thing as Playboy. So, I mean, I get why they would bring them in and have them there, probably autographing them. What was I going to say? Nicole Eggert, she played Summer Quinn, of course, on Baywatch. She admitted on the docuseries that she wasn't surprised by Jeremy's confession, and she said, at least he was honesty.
Mm-hmm.
I give it to him. He exited the series about the time he turned 18, confessing basically he started doing meth.
Oh, well, okay.
Hasselhoff caught him once doing or smoking weed, and I think Hasselhoff kind of tore him down. He calls it the worst thing ever.
Well, based on the people that appeared on the show, the characters, and they had different lifeguards, I bet that docu-series is pretty interesting. Just as far as all the craziness that went along, I'm sure there was a lot more there. I mean, hell, even in later life, you got Hasselhoff, eating a cheeseburger on all fours.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there was some crazy times back then.
Would you smell Yasmin Bleeth's bathing suit now?
No.
I just pulled up a picture, Where are they now kind of thing. I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, but at the time.
At the time, I'm just saying. She said, hey, get a whiff of this.
I don't think you have to get as close.
Well, and keep in mind, there was like Baywatch spinoffs as well.
Jesus. There's Baywatch Nights.
Yeah, as I said, there was Baywatch Nights. They might have tried it again, but that's one of those things. That show was just so massive. I don't think Baywatch the movie really did that well, right?
I don't think so.
Right? You had Dwayne I almost called him Dwayne Jackson. Dwayne Johnson. And Zac Efron. Yeah, right. I'm sure the chicks were. I can't even remember the chicks were in it because those guys are just so hot and buff. Either way, Jeremy, I don't blame you, buddy. I might have said lay off the meth. And maybe don't quit the show at 18. So it's pretty much. I think he does.
Especially when you've got it that good. You're on Baywatch. You've grown up with Baywatch.
Yeah,
dude.
you're also
Hasselhoff.
You're playing Hasselhoff's son.
Right.
So you can't just be replaced. Like, you can't bring in another character and you're like, oh, that's my boy. He just looks different now. Like once you're in, he's not going to adopt him or,
I don't remember. I think he just went off to
whatever.
College or something or a different high school. I mean, Mike, you're not wrong, but also you got to keep in mind, you're 18. You're on one of the most popular shows in that era. He probably did not think the job offers were ever going to stop coming in.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I'll just reiterate, he was smoking meth.
Yeah.
Right?
I can tell you this, I swear to God, the lifeguards at Huntington Beach in California look exactly like Baywatch. They have modeled their swimsuits, the whole deal after it. They've got like a lifeguard captain or whatever. This guy is probably in his 70s. I saw him leading the stuff when they were doing their crap on the beach. He is just a ripped, good looking. I
don't think they modeled it off. I think that's just what
they look like.
What they look like.
Yeah. I was just like, this is Baywatch.
I always liked the cop, man. The black dude that would ride up on his four-wheeler and stuff. He was always cool. If something really bad went down, you had to call him in.
Yeah.
Speaking of beach police and enforcement, again, my mother loved this show called Pacific Blue.
I remember the name. I don't remember anything about the show.
It was just bicycle cops in a beach town in California. I don't know why, but I remember it conflicted with some show I liked. And I was like, why are we watching this?
Bike cops.
Yeah. Oh, dude, just Google it and look at the start of that show. It's like slow-mo. Like
Pacific Blue.
Yeah. They're like riding over stuff and it's silly. I don't think it could have lasted. I don't know. Couldn't have been that long of a series, but just like, that's what you want to watch. Like, all right, whatever. Let's see. Yellowstone. There's a lot of talk that this is supposed to be the end of it coming up in November, but they say there could be a 6th season.
Good Lord.
Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser, who played Beth Dutton and Rip Wheeler, they're in talks to come back. Nothing's been confirmed yet, though. Like I said, Yellowstone Season 5 returns Sunday, November 10th. The other thing I've read about them already talking about having a 6th season is basically just everybody else on the show is kind of like, I keep doing it, but Costner's done.
Right. Yeah.
And if you've watched the show, like I said, I don't know, the guy that creates that show, it sounds like he he has some beef with other people, too. I know him and Costner just despise each other.
Yeah, they do not like each other.
But to his credit, man, the spinoffs are great. So I would say write a 6th series. You know, like Costner's character to me is kind of reaching the peak and end of his stuff. It's just like, all right, this is getting a little ridiculous now. I was going to say, I did watch the episode of Hard Knocks last night. I think there's one more episode left, but like I also shout out to the editors on that show. You know what I mean? I mean, that show airs, Tuesday, 8 or 9 on the East Coast. But I mean, they're chopping up film from the game on, I think they played Saturday, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's already in there. They also have like the next couple things. There was a pretty powerful moment with a guy trying to make the team, blows out his ACL, and a lot of people talk about it online. Credit to HBO. That show is directed and done so well, and you almost always hear Liv Shriver. You hear his voice, right? He's kind of the voice of God, as Rogers called him. The last few minutes of that show last night were like emotional. Like that guy comes out of the locker room, his mom's sitting there, and there's no talking, right? Mm-hmm. There's no voiceover, there's no music in the background. You're just like, Jesus, man. And then also, it's interesting, like, I think for regular non-professional athletes, like you see a guy get injured, and so also that dude deferred going to get his medical degree because he's like went to Howard, but he's like, I want to go play NFL football.
Yeah,
but he gets injured, and then I never really think about it, but it's just like, all right, you tore your ACL, you've been playing high level football, like you'll rehab it and stuff, but like watching him talk to that GM and the GM being like, listen, after a couple months, like. When you're in that rehab, you're not going to be hitting anybody. You're not going to be, hitting the pads. You're not going to, you'll be around the team. But he's like, it is mentally going to mess with you. Like, you're going to want to quit and stuff. He's like, that's what you got to fight. Like, stay in the game, And when you think about it, it's impressive when you see some guys come back from injuries. Some players, unfortunately have one tragic or one bad injury, and, like, they're never quite the same. I think you see it more in baseball for some reason. Somebody gets plunked real hard or something bad happens. It's just like, that guy, he just can't get back in the box and stand there and, take that pitch. Let's just say, I haven't watched Deadliest Catch yet. I know there was a new episode last night. We're speaking about athletes. Ted Danson, Woody Harrelson, they have a Cheers podcast where everyone knows your name. So basically, they were talking with their guest, Will Arnett, about Sam Malone's BDE. If you don't know what BDE is, you got to look it up. Big something energy.
Yeah.
And people probably didn't watch the show, if you're not as old as us. Cheers was even a little older for me. So Ted Danson's character, the main thing was that he used to play for the Boston Red Sox.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That was kind of his thing. Danson comes out and revealed that he sucked at baseball back in the day. He was more of a basketball guy. But he said the creator of the show gave him a tip that helped everybody embody, a former major leaguer. He said, just reach down and grab yourself periodically in the crotch. Athletes, for some reason, touch themselves a lot.
That is not wrong.
No.
Yeah. Like, I grew up playing baseball and stuff. Like, I don't know. I feel like I adjust too much as it is. That's no excuse. I played Little League. I didn't even play in high school. But I will say, sometimes watch a baseball game. This will sound weird. Kind of don't focus on the action as much. Just pick an infielder or an outfielder. And just watch as they walk around, doing stuff with their glove. Like, they are adjusting constantly. Like, I always felt like as a kid, it was more because you're wearing an athletic supporter and a cup.
Yeah.
I don't know, pro athletes, I think it's just habitual. And baseball players are by far the worst.
Just let touch themselves.
Yeah, like football players, I don't feel like are grabbing their junk nearly as much.
And typically, you can understand why.
Baseball players are they're on another planet. You don't set your teammate's foot on fire in any other sport because they're not paying attention. There's a lot there's a lot of extra time in baseball to occupy your time, so to speak.
That's the thing. There's so much downtime in baseball. Like football, like if you have enough downtime, it's just because you don't get a lot of PT. Playing time.
Yeah.
You didn't know what that meant. You probably didn't get it. But you're right. Baseball, even the starters and everything, there's a lot of time sitting around. Or even like if you play infield, you stand there for a part of practice just watching the outfielders do stuff. Yep. If you're not the cutoff man or whatever.
Oh, man, I would get so bored. I can't sit still. So my coach would always go like, why are you in the bullpen right now? I didn't ask you to the bullpen. I'm like, I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm not pitching until on Friday. And I just want to stay warm and loose. And I can't just sit there. Yeah. He's like, all right, just keep throwing. Maybe they'll think we're putting you in.
I mean, of all the pro sports, like if I had the chance, right, like just pure fantasy, you could just go be one tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Like I would love to like play NFL football, come out of the tunnel. But baseball players have the most fun. Most of the games are at night, right? Like you never, they don't give them a hard time. I know there's always bars where the baseball players hang out or where the guys on the road will come in and hang out. Mm-hmm. Right, again, you don't have to be to the park till then. It's one of the only pro sports where, like, you take batting practice every day and, like, right, you'll do some infield and stuff, but there's not, like, set practices.
Right. Like when they warm up, it looks like they're having fun. They're lightly jogging. Oh, yeah. They're long tossing. NFL guys out there, man, doing high knees, doing all these different things, man. Baseball players look like they're going to the beach or whatever. They're out there jogging around.
I mean, I rarely do it anymore, but show up early and watch batting practice. Just watch the damn relievers in the outfield. They can catch fly balls behind their back, whatever. They're tossing them to the stands, hitting on chicks. Right. You know, like, oh, how old are your sons? Is there a dad? That's what I would do. Yeah, after Baywatch, Moment of the Sun starts tonight on Hulu.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
All right, parents, it's back to school time, and I've got a secret for you. There's a drama-free way to make vitamins part of your kids' morning routine. Lil Critters Gummy Vitamins. You see, my kids think they're just eating fun, delicious gummy bears, but little do they know, they're getting essential nutrients for their health and development.
Mom, we know they're vitamins.
As I was saying, kids absolutely love, and apparently know, these are vitamins. Lil Critters is the pediatrician-recommended kids multivitamin gummy brand, and the yummy way to start the school year.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code STYLE at checkout. That's harrys.com, code STYLE. Enjoy.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Man gives an Uber driver a 1-star rating. Then his house gets hit by a brick. Meanwhile, the oldest living crocodile turned 123 and still has a working reproductive organ. Fugitive wanted for murder sees his chance of escape come crashing down. When your 4-year-old breaks a 3,000-year-old vase, parents going to frown. And a children's book catches a minivan on fire. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's Mike Hawk.
And our top story, we go to Tennessee, where a wanted man has been found. He was one of 3 suspects wanted in connection with a shooting that had occurred in the area. And the story goes that at some point, the 3 had managed to wrestle the gun out of the hands of the victim before shooting him as he fled the scene, unfortunately fatally striking him in the back of the head. 2 of the 3 had been apprehended, and the search for the 3rd took him to his place of residence. They surrounded the building and moved in to find, well, you know, he wasn't home. Or so it appeared. While searching the house, the suspect was hiding in the attic, and he managed to fall through the ceiling into the waiting arms of the law. He's now facing several charges. Don't walk between the joists.
Yeah, I thought it was like a drop ceiling. Then I saw the picture. I'm like, no, that is a ceiling.
Yep, he just straight up fell through the doggone thing. Good work there, Slick. In other news, to Florida, where a doctor wasn't going to let the law get in the way of doing what he does best. The doctor had a long history of botching procedures, with a 2017 investigation tracing the deaths of 6 patients back to him. And this led the Florida Board of Medicine to vote to revoke the man's license to perform medicine. But just a short 10 days later, he was back at it again. He performed a circumcision while his license was revoked, and he once again botched the procedure, managing to sever the child's penis. With this latest foul-up, the court had ordered him to pay the family $100 million, but he says, I don't have any money to pay him.
Man.
It seems odd that, like, you're not a doctor anymore. You're like, well, do one more of those.
Right. I don't think he... Yeah. I don't think he was going to stop if he didn't get caught. I think he was just going to keep right on rolling.
Clearly.
Also, Miles, correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, rabbis do it, right? They're not doctors.
No.
Right?
No, they do.
Right.
I mean, but they're trained.
Sure.
I mean, in theory, this guy was too, but damn, man.
I see what you're saying, though, Ted. How hard is it to botch the thing?
Yeah.
Right? To where you lose the kid's wang?
That's crazy.
Come on.
I mean, I don't know what that kid does now.
Mike had a theory.
I did. He never gets a single indecent exposure charge in his life.
Don't even have pants on.
He'll be good in the choir.
He'll never be able to hang a hat.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like, the kid's going to grow up without junk.
Right.
But you keep your testicles, right?
Sure.
I mean, they're producing
Hopefully they can
testosterone and all that. But
yeah, they got to put... I don't know. There's got to be some way to make one, right?
Prosthetic.
I guess. I mean, you still have to wait till he gets older because it's an infant right now.
Right.
So you still have to wait for this kid to stop growing, I would think, before you come up with a prosthetic.
Which means that his parents at some point have to break that news to him.
I mean, at some point, he's going to find out quick.
He's a kid, dude. He doesn't understand anything different unless he's got a brother. Like, where's yours?
But, I mean, when you're 5, 6, 7, whenever they start doing I have a penis, girls have vaginas, right? All kids get to that point,
and then he's going to go to mom
you're going to be a single-digit kid, and you're going to have to explain this. Look, man, people that do have penises, basically, they show up in one of two ways, circumcised or uncircumcised. Now, yours was fully functional and uncircumcised, so we decided to get it circumcised. Yeah, so they cut your penis off. That's the story.
Wild story out of Israel where we feel the need to remind people to keep a close hand on their kids. A local museum is in the news after a family was going through the exhibits along with their 4-year-old son. During the tour, the young lad became fascinated with a jar that was open for viewing and decided to take a closer look. It's worth noting that this museum prides itself on less restrictions on visitors, believing the importance of being able to take a close, intimate look at the artifacts to gain the best respect and knowledge of its properties and history. But things took a disappointing turn when the 4-year-old lost the hold of the jar, sending it falling to the ground where it shattered, destroying the piece that had been around since the days of King Solomon and King David around 2200 BC. Despite the mortifying experience, the museum took a completely calm approach to the situation, believing that the jar can be repaired, and even invited the young man back to show that all is forgiven and in the past.
That's nice. I mean, because I'm sure he felt horrible.
Absolutely.
He doesn't know how old it is. He can't really probably put that in
even if you told him, it doesn't mean anything to him. Yeah, that's why I said if you go to a lot of museums, at least in the States, that kind of thing is behind plexiglass.
Exactly.
For that very reason.
Yeah, but just in case those stories left a bad taste in your mouth.
Thankfully, there's good news.
Researchers have discovered that long-term administration of low doses of THC can actually reverse the process of aging and enhance mental capacity. The study was focused on mice, but this latest revelation gives them hope that the chemical could be a viable treatment for cognitive decline.
I'll be damned.
Nice.
Gotta love it, man.
Small doses, though?
Small doses. Microdoses, as some would call it. Men's Room Sports. The Mariners dropped Game 2 against the Rays last night, with the series wrapping up earlier this afternoon, and with J.P. Crawford being added back into the lineup after suffering a broken hand back in June, and a set of home runs from Victor Robles, Julio Rodriguez, and Randy Arozarena.
He had another one.
He did.
Against his old team.
The Mariners walk out of the series with a win after winning Game 3, 2-6. They're on the road tomorrow, so they're off before they start the weekend series. The Seattle Sounders are in action tonight as the U.S. Open Cup semifinals are underway. That That match starting at 7:30 over on Apple TV Plus. And you've also got some Seattle Storm action on TV tonight at 7 o'clock over on Fox 13 Plus. As far as your weather, clear skies continue tonight as we cool down to a low of 53. That brings us to tomorrow, where we can expect beautiful sunny skies and a high of 78 with some clouds moving in the afternoon. And that is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawkins out.
Thanks, sir. We'll see you next time for the return of Big Dummy and the head chef is back. Ted's Meat and Potatoes.
Yes, indeed, it's all true, but in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch. So until next time, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network.
Oh, man!
A Double Flush production.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
It's Gun Storage Check Week and National Suicide Prevention Month. Securely storing your firearms can help prevent suicide. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to deter unwanted access. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org and enter to win a gun safe. That's gunstoragecheck.org. If you or someone you know is struggling, call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.